Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Had a small technical hiccup there. But hello, everyone, and welcome to Robotech Arcadia, the live play series. Once again, I'm going to have to welcome everyone that's coming out and checking it out. Uh, Also, to give quick shout out, thanks to everyone who has come here, specifically because with all the help that you guys have done, it has helped me reach affiliate status on Twitch. So once again, I have to thank SMG and everyone that has come here. And as always, I would like to thank the writers of the book, Justin Grolk, Timothy Grolk, and Caleb Spurlock, for their amazing work on this book that we're going to be going through. With that, though, I'm going to quickly, just say hello, everyone, and the party that is here. You guys can say hi. You guys can speak now.
Hello, we are
Hey,
here.
we're
Uh,
ready to go.
Unfortunately, Jezebel could not meet with us tonight. Unfortunately, she's not feeling super well after her trip to Gen Con, but that's fine. I'm going to catch her up on a little side session. I might stream that, I might not. We'll see how that goes, but we'll get them in there and we'll get everyone ready to go. With that, though, we're going to just move straight into it. So let me just switch this over. Oh, I forgot to set up Roll20. Good job, me.
Round of applause, everyone.
Yep. There we go. So eventually you guys have finally been boarded along with any other students that are going down to the service to the school. As I quickly get to my notation here. There we go. All set now. And the shuttle quickly takes off and starts its descent towards the planet. As the shuttle burns through the Martian atmosphere, it begins to approach. As a sort of God, I am just out of it today. As the shuttle burns through the thin Martian atmosphere to begin its approach across the red planet, a glistening mirage comes into view within the bloodshot sea. Gleaming under the sun as it reflects rays of the distant sun off its silver and gray towers, the distant academy rests upon red dunes of the Arcadia Planetia. Its facilities racked by the passage of storms, and yet undaunting, forming a bedrock of metal that covers the area. Standing sentry at its perimeter, its edges is a ring of large black monoliths, each an imposing guardian fortress. As the shuttle comes in low, circling to provide a view of the towers, the facility comes into clear view, with several domes building blocks, all interconnected by various roadways and closed corridors creating a spiderweb of infrastructure among the rising red sand. Extending lower, large hangars maul themselves open to expose the below-the-ground, glowing interiors which beam with cool white and blue lights that beckon the shuttle within as it lands on a cleared strip before the gap of softened for a gap in a softened touchdown before being ferried downwards inside. As the craft is brought into the sleek and refined white space that forms the Academy's many hangar complexes, the shuttle enters into a cradle before the massive hangars are pressurized, first by force shields and then by the main door that closes. Within the stoppage, lights the lights in the shuttle cabin blink green. Flight attendants begin to herd you and the other arrivals off as many begin to reach for luggage and move to exit the vehicle. Presented with recycled colony air, a breath washes over relative freshness compared to the air within the shuttle. The wide open space of the hangar extends into an open terminal area comprised of several large surface buildings. Between the hangar and the terminal is security which people are being rushed through. And as you guys approach this security, they're doing quick little they've got the metal detectors out. They're doing quick little pat downs, declare anything you have from customs and that stuff. And Kadirk, you being large, they let you go first, and they're like, "All right, do you have anything to declare to customs?"
Uh, no, I think I've got everything with me here. I assume you mentioned we're bringing our own like luggage and stuff.
Yeah, you got your luggage, which is like your clothes and stuff that you've brought with you. Do you have anything specific in your luggage?
No, actually, Ketter packed fairly light. He wasn't sure what to expect. This is his first time traveling this far from the homeworld.
All right, and the security guard there, which is a middle-aged human male, he's like, "All right, spread your arms, spread your legs, please." And I assume you do.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I
He
comply.
he waves the
Hey,
magic wand of metal detection over you, checking around, and just goes, "All right, you're cleared. Proceed on
he
to
has
the
to pull up a
academy."
footstool to get up to your height.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. I
he's like
get to
getting on his
stare
tippy
down at
toes.
him.
Well, these aren't just normal TSA people. These are MarsCom police. So
Okay.
they're actually equipped to handle problems going forward. But never know.
I, I would also assume that everything's probably a little bit on higher alert due to colony things that we were a part of not too long ago.
Surprisingly, security itself seems to be tighter, but nothing openly stating security is tighter. If you catch my
Interesting.
drift.
Hmm.
And when you kind of think about it, it makes a little bit of sense because if Mars admitted that known terrorist groups took over their one of the space stations and attempted to drop it onto the colonies, might be a little bad for the headlines.
Speaking of which, and this might be a small sidebar here, but
Mhm.
between last session and this session, like what kind of a did we get some kind of a debriefing as far as we're not supposed to talk about the events on the station or
Yep.
something like that?
You guys were told that you are not allowed to say anything about what happened on the station under order of the GMP,
All right.
which is the Global
Thank you.
Military Police.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, Kedrick's going to be kind of just more reserved and just passing through security, almost on autopilot.
Mhm.
He looks around, very excited to be here, but he's clearly got other things on his mind at this point.
Mhm. And luckily enough, you get through, security without any problems. And sorry, I just need a quick drink there. Jato, you're next, and they're like, "All right, do you have anything that you'd like to declare for customs before I search you?"
Yeah, uh, this planet's the gravity's a little weird here. What's up with that?
Ah, you must be from space. This is just normal planetary gravity for Mars. It'll feel a lot heavier than what you're used to, but you should be fine once you accommodate to it.
It's a little weird. Coming here on that space station is 1G, and this is Mars G. That's a little weird, guys. Just I thought I should just let you know. That's a little weird.
It's meant to act as a transition point. I'm not the one who decided the stations. But anything else you'd like to declare for customs?
I think he'll be okay. I think we'll be okay.
And you're not importing any fruit, grain or other live species with you?
Uh, Jato makes like I guess a comical like statement of just like maybe a food thing here. I mean I wouldn't be the one telling you that sort of thing, would I? Just kind of
Eh,
snarky, kind of like
Yeah,
off-putting,
the,
that sort of
the
thing.
the man just kind of looks at you and goes, "Sir, will you please step out of line and go over here where we may check with you?"
All right, I guess I earned this one.
And you get taken off to the side, and they do an extensive interview with you. And once they find out that you don't have anything, they question you from everything about do you know this group? Are you part of this group? Very on point questions. Have you ever had rebellion, or have you ever uh, thought of joining one of these groups? And of course, these are all very bad groups that I assume you have never had thoughts joining.
The space mafia? Oh no, not those guys.
Yep, the space mafia, and the space yakuza, and uh, I don't know a third group that I could really say without probably making someone mad. Um, Space Twitter.
Nah. Well, I mean, they're already up in arms about that. Oh dear.
But yeah, eventually they let you through and they go, next time you're questioned, please do not attempt to make joking answers like this. We're forced to investigate any and all possible situations.
All right. I'll remember that for next time.
And it takes you like 15, like the entire interview takes like almost 20 minutes. And Dirk, are you waiting for your friend, or are you just kind of...
Yeah, no, I was gonna kind of stand around outside the questioning area and just wait for him.
Okay, yep, so it takes them a while, but within the terminal, reinforced transparent metals allow one to peer out into the red wastes of Mars while you wait, permitting natural light to filter in. Various stores line the port terminal area, taking advantage of the view and proximity to intakes of people to sell their wares. Small garden beds make use of terraformed soil and grow various plants, are used for decorations between the spots. The terminal is filled with commotion and activity as people and machines move back and forth between the hangars. Moving forward, lines of students are formed and hushed forward by older students into transit cars, which move through the underground rail system. And you guys are eventually pushed onto this. You know, one of the older students looks a little annoyed at Jato. But they don't say anything. They just look slightly annoyed about having to wait 20 minutes for you.
Hedrick just shakes his head.
And they get you up onto the rail system, and as you pass the lines and board the trams, you're given a series of pamphlets as they, go down the line and hand you pamphlets, information on a data pad, numerous projectors here, and with sound highlight the path forward, while others show maps of the Academy facility which are no new arrivals get lost during this chaotic scene. A general call-out can be heard again for the Academy's new cadets to proceed to the main campus hall for orientation. And it's at this point you guys are kind of just given some time. There's a couple other students in here. Most of them are kind of looking over their pamphlets, and some are like looking at the map going, wow, the school's so huge. And eventually one of the students kind of looks over to you and goes, hey, you nervous about coming into the school?
Kedrick kind of chuckles and then pauses, trying to think of the right words to say. He says, nervous coming into the school? No, the trip here was far more stressful, I think, than the actual arrival. This is the easy part.
Well, I guess I'm a little nervous. This is my first time in the solar system, actually, and well, I don't even know I'm actually supposed to be here.
It's my first time in the solar system as well, but I've worked hard to be here. I'm excited. What makes you so nervous, little friend?
Well, I have a brother who we share a very similar name, and apparently I got chosen over him to go to the academy. I don't even remember signing up, and then my parents kind of just throw me out. Yeah, it's been a little
sounds
something.
most unexpected. I'm sure you'll do fine.
I hope so. Oh, my name is Leroy Jinx.
Oh dear.
Well, it's wonderful to meet you, Leroy. I'm Kedrick.
It's nice to meet you, Kedrick. I gotta admit, you're the first Kabaran I've really talked to. You guys are not as scary as some of the people online say.
Kedrick tries to give kind of a fierce look for a moment, and then breaks out in a wide smile.
I really hope it's true that you guys don't rip people's arms off and then eat them.
I've never tried human.
Oh, please don't try with me if you decide.
Header chuckles.
And at this point, you guys are, the train eventually starts to slow down, and the rail tram passes through the underground tunnels carved with red Martian rock below the Academy. Its running lights illuminate the way forward, visible from the clear perspex windows within that allow you to track your journey. Running alongside the tram tracks, separated by rock and window, are walkways which are a normal passage for humans. As the tram turns and pulls in towards one of the stops and opens its doors, holographic signposts projected from the walls line the way, leading upstairs into a large open cavern. The cavern sits below the main block of the Academy and its three central spires. With the white modern walls on all sides, the sight that sprawls out before you is that of an open and underground campus. Various white sheen buildings, situated between gardens grown from Martian soil, fill the area forming the main campus of the Academy. In place of a roof, the stairs and buildings that ascend the heightened space seemingly end in the sky, though close inspection reveals a holographic deceit. As the guided path beckons new students to the pristine environments, it leads towards one of the largest buildings on the far side of the campus, the main auditorium. This main auditorium bleeds into the walls of the surrounding cavern, converting a small cave into a key assembly area for the Academy. From its entrance, students are herded into the seats within the large bleachers. As students finally assemble, the main presentation begins. The lights dim and the spotlights open onto a single figure who stands forward at the podium. Broad-shouldered, brown-haired man with a stern look and neatly trimmed mustache takes position and meticulously sorts a prepared speech on a series of cards before him that he removes from his finely pressed and firm purple-gray suit. He begins to speak as the window to the outside world is covered by holographic projections of his topics. Welcome everyone to the Robotech Academy, the guiding star of the future of civilization. This mecca of learning and insight stands as a beacon to all that we have learned and accomplished. While many of you cadets and honored guests have traveled from far for your inauguration of the first-year acceptance ceremony of the 8th year of the Academy's operation, I think it's important to ask and remind everyone today, what is Robotech? The term comes from robotechnology, a science of machine invented from the ashes, our greatest achievement, born to us by the tides of fate and curse upon which we are built. For many, the birth of Robotech began when back in 1999 a massive alien starship crashed into the Earth. At the time, humanity was consumed with petty squabbles and engaged in a global war, but when the visitor came, our eyes were opened to the truth. We were not alone. In the span of less time than humanity had taken in its centuries, we achieved the near impossible, unifying ourselves in the pursuit of glorious new vision, deciphering the technology of the visitor and rebuilding it. The promise of humanity was to move to the stars, but our visitor came with a terrible curse of robotechnology, and the Earth was consumed by war. The visitor had been rebuilt by human hands and dubbed the SDF-1, but its owners had come searching for it, the Zentradi. With them they brought war, a people bred supremely for that purpose who had known no other way of life. It was the first of many wars that pushed us to near extinction. Nowadays, the Zentradi are a part of us. They live among us. Their masters, the Tyroleans who came to Earth, are now allies and friends, but at the cost of our home. And while we have suffered as a people, pushing ourselves into the darkness to escape the cradle of our home, which now sits under alien occupation, we must never forget. Robotechnology is the future. The gleaming light of distant stars which brave pioneers have sought to grasp in the future is called possibility. But we must remember that possibility and knowledge bring danger. It's for this reason this academy is both a military training facility and university. Whatever it is you pursue, children, let let the light of possibility that robotechnology brings shine through as you explore here at the Robotech Academy. Even as that possibility turns enemies into allies, some days, and brings sorrow and ruin the next. I welcome you all, class of 2044. Take this curse and struggle onwards towards a brighter future, as the future of humanity. The Robotech Academy shall be your foundation. And as the ceremony concludes with several more speeches dragging on, the last of the speeches includes an address for student representatives. A Miss Muratagi gives a brief spell about the nature of students learning and growing together. However, most of it is simply sounds like standard cut and paste speak from 1,000 other speeches. With that, people begin to file towards the exit and leave the assembly. Now, the one thing you do notice, though, is because actually both of you might know, Ms. Muratagi is actually a fairly well-known person. She owns and runs Muratagi Heavy Industries, which is one of the largest arms manufacturers in the colonial sphere. They're based on Mars, but have branches and factories across multiple worlds. And they don't produce only arms, mecha, and starships, but have diversified and kind of control a large variety of different markets. But they're most notable for their voracious arms contracts, which produce and export weapons across the galaxy. And supposedly, they're one of the 2 companies that have gotten permission to work on 4th generation Veritex.
Very intriguing.
So you could easily see this as maybe she's trying to look for the best to come work for her.
Ah,
With that, people begin to
Perfect.
file towards the exit and leave the assembly. Numerous pads of each student are updated simultaneously to bring a new message to go out to each new student. For you guys, you guys with your new, data pads that you've been gifted as a part of, orientation, says you need to go to room C 3.2 at the top of the central campus.
all right. I'll punch up my my data pad and see if there's an easy map to follow on how I might do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for you guys, you're easily able to figure out where to go, since they made sure to make this as easy as possible for everyone.
About how many students were there in the incoming ceremony here?
There was a large amount of students, as this is both a large military training facility and school. You'd wager that there's more than a lot, less than a little. Or
Okay.
rather, more than a lot, less than a ton.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
there's a lot here. It's hard to get a real count, especially with how many people are moving about. But you'd easily say a lot.
So it wasn't like, there were 20 of us in a room. There were hundreds
No,
of
there
people
was
in there.
hundreds, if not more.
Okay, perfect. I kind of, standing above a good chunk of the crowd, look around and lean over to Jato and make a comment along the lines of, I haven't seen Marzi. I bet she wouldn't give up that meat wrap. She probably got detained at customs.
Jato is trying not to get stomped over by being basically the shortest one in the entire crowd, and looking up at Kadark is like, well, you'd be the only one who can actually see anything in this sea of people.
At this point,
Kadark
both
will
of you
start.
feel your hair on the back of your neck stick up as someone leans in between you and goes, "Oh, what's this about a meat wrap?" And in between you is a young woman who you don't know why, but the hairs on your neck stick up. It's one of those. She doesn't seem to, be outwardly hostile to you guys, but she does seem to elicit some sort of reaction from just subconsciously.
An ill feeling. Okay.
Kedrick will look down at this new individual, slightly startled, not expecting somebody to sneak up on him like that. Hello? Who are you?
Oh, apologies. I'm Rinko Shiki. Nice to meet you both.
It's a pleasure. We were just commenting that we've gotten separated from one of our friends. I'm sure we'll meet up later.
Oh? Well, I'm sure that they're nice and safe. With how things are at the school, they wouldn't want a student going missing or getting hurt on the first day.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure that's the case.
But I have to admit, I'm very interested in both of you. What courses did you decide to come to take at the school?
Maybe we should save our introductions for later because we don't want to repeat this discussion later whenever we do our class introductions and all
Oh, true. I guess I can see that. Well, in that case, I'll leave you two to get to orientation then. And she says that kind of leaving that last word hanging in the air before giving you a small wave and then starting to move off into the crowd and then vanishing. Like even you, Kadirk, with your height, just lose full track of her.
that. Is she out of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see her. That one was a weird one.
I
It just kind of shudders a little bit. What was her name again? I was my note taking
Rinko
is
Shinki.
Rinko Shiki.
Yep, I will copy that to you in the Discord.
I'm sure we'll see her again.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, as
Well,
you guys.
with that,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, Ketter kind of looks around and tries to find the best way towards an exit without, stomping on too many of these smaller beings.
Yeah, and as you look out, there's students of basically every race here. You see at least one Praxian. Um, a, the only way you're really able to tell them out from the other human females is due to their just sheer size over them. You see some people that you think are Zentradi, or at least possibly have Zentradi heritage. You don't see many Kabarans, but you do hear word of at least one Kabaran restaurant on station.
I definitely make mental note of that. That'll be a
Mhm.
place to visit later.
Besides that, though, just about everything. There's some Garudans and some Praxians. It's hard to tell if there's any Tyroleans or such, just because they do have a very striking similarity to most humans if they're not actively dressing like Romans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But with that, you guys.
Actually, on that note, on that note, like, is there a? Hello, can you hear me? Oh.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
On that note, is there like a school uniform of sorts, or are we just kind of dressed as normal?
Let me double check, actually. I do not believe there are school uniforms, or at least they haven't given them out to you guys if they are.
Understood.
Yeah, I suppose we're still lugging around our carry-on bags, or
Yep, you haven't even gotten to your rooms yet.
yeah.
But with that, as you guys start moving through the crowd, this sea of people, both those who are trying to direct people, or those who are, maybe new students or older students who are trying to, help the crowd figure out where they need to go, you guys eventually manage to get to the central tower and get to the C section of it. Within the high-tech classrooms of the advanced facilities of the central campus, winding halls filled with many dozens of different rooms, study halls and labs and lecture theaters are filled. Within the section of the central spire is a small study room filled with several advanced, sleek desks with computer study terminals, and with the serene and flinging nature of the stark yet modern interior designed to help cope with life in space and give off an advanced vibe. The clear nature makes nothing too dark, and bright illumination and colors help with the students' mental states. The entire room still bears some of the rustic and common aspects of older spaceborne facilities: small sealable fence and vacuum and cold-proof emergency features and lights. Awaiting inside of the room is a single staff member who awaits the arrival of students. And as you guys enter in, she's the woman who is there, who has a label on her, or like a name tag on her desk, which reads Professor Kali Setsuban.
All right.
It kind
And
of waves as they enter.
uh, as you do, she waves back, and that's when you notice she's got two prosthetics. One of them seems to be a cybernetic eye, and her right arm seems to also be cybernetic. The other thing you notice is that she is incredibly short. Like, if you had not seen Professor Kali Setsuban on the desk, you would definitely think that this was a student. But the way that she carries herself is military-like, or maybe military-adjacent, maybe. And as you walk in, she makes sure to greet everyone. Welcome, students. Welcome, welcome. Please make sure to take your seats, and we can get through this orientation as quickly as possible. And
Eric
as you
looks
go,
for a seat on the edge of the aisle or something, since he's gonna be spilling out into the row, I'm sure.
yeah, you managed to find a seat, and luckily they did reinforce the seats just in case Kabarns came to school.
All
Awesome.
right.
And they're not those annoying ones with the arms that stick up, so they're gonna not gonna cut in your sides. It's just open sides.
Good deal.
But as everyone finally gets in, the introductions start, and she starts by introducing herself. Hello, my name is Professor Kali Setsuban. Yes, I am an actual professor. Yes, I am not a student here. No, I am not younger than 27. And if anyone says anything else about my height, I will make sure that you have some form of detention later. Now then.
Kind of stares up at the ceiling.
She takes notice but doesn't say anything, it looks like. But as she continues speaking, a little bit of background about me. I was a young graduate of the early Robotech Academy, and one of the members of its long retired accelerated training program. Some other information about me: I am a veteran of several UEF naval vessels. I served as officer and engineer aboard several of them, before unfortunately one of my last ships, the UES Memphis, being destroyed at the hands of the Invid, which got me these prosthetics. So
The mention of her serving as an officer on board a ship kind of gets Kedrick's attention a little bit more, and he's sitting upright and paying attention now.
now, I know all of you are new here and probably wondering how things will work here, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And at this point, someone goes, so how do we graduate as part of the school? Like, and Kiddark, you know this Jinx. How do we
Oh,
graduate from like the school? Do we have to like get a like how does this work? Do we just have to get like A's in class? And she goes, as part of the academy, you will all have to attend the highly respected. All of you will have to who attend this school, be it to join the ranks of the Robotech Defense Force or to go into the civilian world, will have to get 24 merit points through the various completion for the completion of various merit or various class units and extracurricular activities. Do note, if you commit academic fraud in any way, you will be expelled immediately. And we are very good at catching academic fraud, I should let you know. On top of that, all of you are expected to conform with code and conduct and principles expected of you for attending one of the most prestigious schools in the UEG. If you act out against the code, you will have an infraction placed upon you which will give you a demerit point, if not more than one, depending on what you have done. If you amass 12 demerits, you will be immediately expelled. Though I will note that if you do gain 12 demerits, you may attempt to contest your expulsion, and any of the merits gained can be also contested before a board of instructors. Though I ask you kindly not to attempt this, as this will take time, and you will also be unable to continue your academic schedule when you're busy seeing this interview. On top of that, I shall also mention that I am your student mentor, and that I'm going to be that due to this mentor system, that has been placed at the academy. Any issues that you have, you can bring to me directly. I act as your supervisor and advisor in place of, let's say, a homeroom teacher. At this point, another student will speak up. So we didn't actually get to, before we get here, to fill out any of the papers to like choose like what classes we're going to go in. And she goes, that is because later today you'll be choosing what curriculum you're going to go through. We have curriculums for officers, pilots, doctors, engineers, scientists, more free-form, civilian educations. If you're interested in becoming an entertainer, maybe a marine, a spy, any one of these. Or if you decide to just choose your own class semester, you can also. Depending on which one you do, you will get 4 classes in 2 semesters. You'll get 2 semesters. The first semester will be 4 classes. The second semester will be 3 classes. Any other questions?
Eric's busy taking tons of notes.
Mm-hmm. Jato, do you have any questions for them?
Jato doesn't have any questions, but he's going to be looking for this Rinko Shiki person as whether or not they're actually in this class as well.
They are in this class, and the moment you start looking for them, you meet their eyes, like as if they were expecting you to stare at them.
Okay.
And she gives you a small wave.
I look away without acknowledging her, as non-obvious as possible.
Mm-hmm. But after this, she starts going through the basics of the school, how the house system works. You guys will be, because this facility is so massive, you guys will be housed here in smaller districts. There's basically a full-ass city here. The hub structure houses public simulators, library, nurse's office, study halls, everything you'd expect. There's a student store. It also houses the communications cluster. The first tower, Tower 1, the Global Tower, houses lecture halls, general classrooms, student labs, private study areas, an analysis room. It contains the main section of the communication facility also. The Hayes Tower, which is Tower 2, is named after Donald Hayes, she says, the father of the current admiral of the UEF, Lisa Hayes.
Hmm.
And while it's smaller in scope than the Global Tower, it houses key facilities like the Dean's Office, accounting, student unions, custodian offices, student services, robot server control, staff kitchens, records. And then there's Tower 3, which is the Anatol Tower, named after the fallen military leader and hero Anatol Leonard of the ASC, the last commander of the ASC before the unfortunate invasion by the Invid that took the planet. Namely, this one is known for used as the Academy's research facilities. The UEF and other corporations make use of the scientific facilities that carry out their research. Only the lower areas are accessible to you guys. She notes that you aren't allowed to go up further due to some of the experiments being run for your safety. But surrounding the main hub of Arcadia includes just about everything that you'd expect. There's mecha hangars, ground hangars, 3 starship hangars, the terminal you came through, the terminal and lounge, flight control. Notably, Marscom, another company that produces mecha and equipment, along with MHI, use the surface annex as their main location. It's noted that there's also bars, the CDF command around here. It really seems that they've set up just a massive city that happens to also be a military base, that happens to also be a school.
Sounds like it'd be easy to get lost in here, but
Luckily, you guys do have your data pads, which will allow you to get around without too much problem. But after a while, she goes into a little bit about the Academy's history. Arcadia began construction northwest of Olympus Mons in 2029 to replace the lost Mars base for Phobos, which disappeared from Mars orbit years prior. The original foundation was remote ice drilling and extraction plant that formed one of the many outposts situated around Mars Base 2. Construction on Arcadia was shortly put on hold when the Robotech Masters attacked. The Siege of Mars and Second Robotech War resulted in battles across the planet, the solar system, and Earth, which devoted significant attention. Even after threats abated, construction focused on Mars Base 2 and the rebuilding of Mars Base 3 in orbit, which had been rendered derelict during the war. This was essential for housing the influx of Earth refugees and expanding the colony. It wasn't until 2034 when the mass colonial development became Plenipotentiary Council's primary objective that works resumed on the planned Arcadia Academy. The initial site was finished in 2036 and has been expanding since. The facility encompasses a huge area above and below the surface with modern colonial buildings designed to withstand solar winds and deep cavernous dwellings beneath the red sands where most of the actual academy is situated. The academy extends hundreds of meters below the surface with 3 main caverns housing facilities below its now primary hub, which is man-made caverns fused with habitation block which extends to the surface. Caverns are interconnected by small transit tunnels like what you went through, for foot and vehicle traffic. A complex tram grid also connects to the various annexes. A fourth, deeper cavern houses essential systems, with several smaller areas hollowed out to serve as warehouse and cargo bays. On the surface, various facilities are accessible. Notable feature are the 3 main towers of the Academy, which extend in the sky. Each tower fulfilling a different purpose. At ground level are hangar bays. Surface road entrances and cargo intakes, which connect them via massive service elevators to the main areas below. The surface area is mostly devoted to teaching annexes, classroom facilities, and event spaces. However, in traditional Martian fashion, a series of 9 cone-shaped fortresses encircle the whole academy. These monoliths serve as defense hubs, each fortress itself bristling with deployable defenses. The Academy is home to academics, is also home to extensive Robotech research facilities. All kinds of sciences are explored, while the facilities pale in comparison to the labs placed at the Jupiter colony. They have produced various advancements in human knowledge and continue to be promising ground for young academics looking to undertake practical research. UEF and private organizations both occupy and make use of the labs for classified research as well. And with that, having gone over just about everything, she asked one final time if there's any questions or anything else you'd like to ask for these, for how things will work here.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's a lot of information to take in at once. But hey, that's what she's here.
But with that, since no one else seems to be asking questions, she then says, all right, in that case, we'll be doing a quick tour of the campus and moving you guys around, since I know you guys have been stuck on shuttles for a while.
Edric looks appreciative and kind of, makes a show of stretching out.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys are not dragged, but guided around the entire campus facility, shown everything from outdoor activity centers, which include gyms, pools, small sports stadium, and sports track, open areas for congregation, and just how the entire school is laid out. And while this is a lot of info to take in for you guys, you guys do luckily have your data pads, which will help you guide you through in case you need any help. She does make sure to note how the GPS works. You notice that Jinx seems to have broken his pad already. But besides that, eventually you guys are finally allowed some free time before heading, before doing anything else, which allows you guys to kind of give free reign to explore if you guys have any specific location you might want to go to.
Well, what do you think, Kadirk? Or we're locked into this course for the next however many months.
Oh,
It's the last night of freedom or some such.
Yeah, exactly. Keter kind of thinks back to hearing mention of the Kabaran food place, and he's always hungry, so he suggests maybe we go find a nice dinner.
Well, notably, when you start looking up, food on your data pad, 2 places come up. There's the Nyan Pai, which is located in the Arcadia Biodome, and is noted as one of the more popular restaurants there. The other one is known as Zerk's Bar, which is in the surface annex just outside of the terminal.
I say we go for the less popular one.
I'm kind of leaning that way. Last time I tried to eat some food in a biodome, things went sideways. So let's head over to the. You said it was a bar.
Yep, it's Zerk's Bar, and so you guys eventually, you're able to find your way back to the surface annex and towards it. Notably, when you enter, the bar is darkly lit and creates a dingy and cold atmosphere in contrast to the red planet outside. It's divided into 2 floors, with the first floor hosts the main bar, which features a kitchen behind it, as well as tables and chairs, including several side booths scattered around a dance floor, which features the central stage. The stage area is equipped with modern music equipment, and the control room above the stage and on the second floor operates the lights and holographic projectors. second floor is seen for space for more people to relax and offers a better elevated view from reinforced windows of the Martian landscape outside. Most of the lighting relies on the neon to help create a vibrant yet dark mood. And as you guys enter, you notice that one of the men behind the bar is a Paratonian. He goes, "Welcome, welcome. Come on in, new students." As kind of waves, you and a couple other students who have decided to quickly try out, Zerk's bar.
Edric kind of looks around and walks into the bar, or walks up to the bar, and he grabs a seat and says, "Oh, is it so obvious that we're new students?"
Most new students immediately after orientation ends come and try to grab some food from either me or the Neon Pie.
Makes sense.
But with that, if you want any drinks or food, let me know. Though, if you do want alcoholic drinks, I will need to check if you are of legal age for your species.
Edric's not even sure what that would be. But he puts in an order for some food, but passes on the alcoholic beverage at this time.
And you, Jato? It's your standard pub food, wings, various forms of, pretzels or such.
Space buffalo wings or Martian buffalo wings. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jato is going to try and appear tougher than they are, and try to be cool, or order an alcoholic beverage when they're not sure what the local law is. Order way too much food, and just try to be a big man in a new town, and try to dominate the scene.
All right.
Successfully or not.
All right. So do you think Jato is of legal age?
I think they're probably, well, I guess Terran equivalent of 18. So I wouldn't know the drinking laws on Mars after all.
It's probably a little bit lower due to the fact that this is a very militarized planet. So, in this case, he'll allow you to, you get an alcoholic drink. Do you want anything specific? Long Island iced tea. Something hard.
Let's see. What would be a suitably Martian pony? A Martian sunrise. Let's go with that.
All right.
And it probably tastes really. I'm gonna imagine this is a very cinnamony flavored drink.
Compared to more like a tequila sunrise, it's very much a darker red color that swims through the glass, and it's set up to. And the moment you take a drink, it is hard liquor that they have put into this. Has Jato ever drank before?
I imagine that they have the engineer moonshine stereotype that they do, and then probably Jato has never actually made his own batch, but has definitely snuck out a drink or two from his apprenticeship. And such.
All right. But yeah, no, this is. Okay.
No, what I imagine is, this is going to be that stereotypical scene of they drink it, and you have the anime effect of their skin turning red and getting hot, but then they try to keep it together, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you've always had, whatever engineers can make in, the engineering bay out of whatever they can find, which generally doesn't run to too high of an alcohol level just because they still have to work. Then getting stuff to last long enough to make good alcohol takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty strong stuff, some stronger than what you've had before. But you're not fully taken off guard by this, but it's definitely something. And as the food comes out, Jato, you order, I imagine, something like maybe nachos or something. Like steak nachos or something.
Oh yeah.
And Kadirk, what are you kind of thinking? Maybe some, wraps or something.
Yeah, so some kind of a wrap, something pretty meaty, probably. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I keep thinking my bear is a giant meat eater, but that's what he is.
It'd be like a space salmon burger.
Oh, there you go. Which
Mhm.
the irony is, I hate seafood in real life. But anyway, sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah, no, they get you like space tuna, locally grown on Mars.
Oh, there you go. Mars space tuna.
Mm-hmm. You've never really thought too hard on it because Mars doesn't have an ocean. But your food comes out, and Jato, you get like a massive pile of nachos that is like the size of your torso.
Okay. I guess I ordered for everyone, but it's just for me.
It's one of those, yes, they bought nachos, these are cheap, give them the plate.
Nice.
And you guys start eating through it, and eventually you guys are pretty good. You guys get most of it down. Jato, the amount of at one point, Kadirk, do you help Jato try to work through his nachos?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. The salmon portion or the tuna portion was, okay for normal people, but Kedrick needs some more. So.
And it's automatically charged to like your cards and stuff. Since you guys, have some level of wealth, you're not, wealthy, but you're not also broke.
We're not eating instant ramen in the dorms.
I mean, that's for later.
Yet.
I mean, if you guys start spending your stuff like most college students I know and proceed to just buy random anime girl statues, then we'll have problems.
No comments. No comments.
With that, you guys finish up your meal, and you hear a couple other students are talking about going out to the simulators. They've got the simulators are set up, and there's a couple of different things you can go with.
Simulators. That sounds kind of interesting.
You were talking about how much you'd like to be an officer. Are you thinking of maybe
yes.
something more piloty now, or?
No. I've just always been intrigued by the piloting side of things, but my frame doesn't lend itself well to some of those things. I just get too cramped up, but I've always been interested.
Oh, I'm sure the Kabarans will have their own Robotech mecha industry before too long.
Oh, for sure. We do like our industry on Kabara.
So you guys thinking about heading to the simulators, or maybe somewhere else, one of the maybe sports venues or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kedrick would like to at least walk by and see what it's all about.
All right.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
So yeah, you guys head out to the simulators, which are located on the upper floors of the academy, and you guys find out that you guys can access these at any time during school hours. On top of that, you guys also find out that that they are actually linked in a way that you can set up multiple simulator pods to play together.
Oh, interesting.
And when you guys get there, you hear shouting and rumbling and cheering coming from inside, as it looks like there's a huge group inside.
I mean, if I had life-size simulators for Robotech Mecha, I'd probably spend a lot of time there. So Kedrick's not surprised to find that there's a large group. Does it seem like there's some kind of competition or something going on?
Yeah, it looks like that two of the simulators are going head-to-head competitive in one of the simulations. Specifically, this one is there's swarms of Invid that are coming at both of these alpha fighters, and they are both going wild, trying to destroy more than the other side. And the pilots inside both are quickly trying to work and defeat defeat as many as they can. And one of the pilots grabs one of the Invid and tears it in half with his mecha's bare hands.
Oh, jeez.
Only for the other side to take advantage of the confusion as the first pilot gets surrounded to launch a barrage of missiles that not only takes out the Invid but the other player in the same motion.
Ooh, it sounds
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word, but not playing fair, not playing co-op here. Where
Yeah, no, they definitely seem to have been competing, but when that ends, shortly after that, the simulator ends, and people are cheering, some are booing, and it's just wild. And getting outside of one of them, you see a very, very angry, like, the dude is built like a brick house. The dude this human somehow squeezed himself down, human or Zentradi, it's hard to tell, squeezed himself down into the cockpit of the simulator, and meanwhile on the other side, you guys see Rinko's over there.
oh, of course. I assume she's the one that killed the friendly pilot. Yeah.
And he goes, "That's not fair. You shot me down. We're supposed to be competing for the highest score." And she goes, "Well, maybe you shouldn't have been in the middle of the enemy. Sounds like it was your own fault." And
His head, he's not looking forward to having to work with this girl.
And the whole situation nearly boils over before behind you guys, you hear you hear the footsteps behind you, and with that a stop before someone calls out for the group to stop their arguments, and everyone goes silent. Behind you guys is someone in a military uniform who rather notably sticks out. Mainly besides the decorations that adorn her chest, she also is also her blonde hair and blue eyes, but pink jewelry and accessories seem to really stick out. In fact, most of her uniform is covered in pink. And she walks in and goes, "It sounds like we're getting a little heated in here. I expect both of you to carry yourselves with distinction going forward, but also in accordance with the codes that you have agreed to when you came here." At this point, the very angry person and Rinko are, say, "Yes, ma'am," and they both of them don't seem to want to anger her, and with that, both of them eventually leave. And this military woman stands in the middle of the crowd and goes, "I encourage any student who wishes to try out the simulators and practice, but I also implore you to all make sure that you follow the rules of the simulators and treat it as if it was a real situation." With that, though, this pink uniformed officer leaves, having not even waiting for a confirmation from the group or anything. And at this point, slowly the group starts to dissipate, leaving you guys and a few others here in the simulators. Some are still testing them out, some are talking.
Oh, that was a tense situation, but well, I guess maybe the military types, they always hang around in places like these just because I guess they were young once or something like that.
But this does leave the simulators open if you guys want to try them.
Well, we're already here.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dirk? I know
Yeah,
you might not be able to sit in one of these, but
squeeze down into one of them, I'm sure. They've probably got at least one for oversized races.
But
yeah,
no.
oh,
Oh, go ahead, sorry. Okay,
no,
yeah.
no,
So you guys,
we'll join.
you guys slip into the simulators, and luckily you're able to squeeze down in. And there's a couple of different options for the simulators. There's an Invid Horde simulation, the Broken Ship simulation, Mars Base 1 simulation, Force of Arms simulation rather, the Dogfight simulation, and the Folker Fields simulation. Each one has various mecha that you can mess with. Several of them seeming to have alpha fighters, namely the Invid Horde. The Invid Horde has the alpha fighter. The Force of Arms and Broken Ship simulation use VF-1As. Mars Base 1 uses specifically Destroids of various Gen 1 types. The Dogfight simulator uses something called a Gamma Fighter.
Ooh.
And the Fokker Field simulation uses a Logan or Spartus hover tank.
Kedrick sees this Gamma Fighter, and that's not something he's heard of, so he's curious to check that out.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So as you guys slip into, the simulator and you select your thing, it very quickly goes dark and then re-illuminates as if, showing you guys, or rather, it re-illuminates, bringing you guys both right into the center of this action, of this dog fight that's about to happen. And I will grab you the stats of the Gamma Fighter. It is. Now let me double check here. I've got to grab my stuff here in the book. So this is, one of the newer 4th gen ones you guys notice as you kind of get in, and this thing is rather advanced on the inside. But as the loading into the VR is a wide open space that extends out ahead of the pilots. The opening of the world's past, a shadow looms overhead. Above, descending from in front of the sun, an ultimate predator descends upon you as you look up and you see a Delta fighter, which is another one of the 4th generation fighters that was being pushed as part of the development program. And
Fascinating.
yeah, the two of you are going to be fighting a single Delta fighter.
Okay.
And so I will grab you the stats for the Gamma fighter. I will drop these in the Discord for you. Or at least the stats you will need, I should say. Go. This is the last of them. So this is the stat block of what you are flying, the Gamma fighter. It's brand new, advanced, and has some very, very deadly weapons attached to it. But with that, though, the enemy quickly dives upon you and communication phase.
All right, Kader. Don't know exactly what we signed up for, but we know anything about any enemies, if we get one to chase, the other one can usually take advantage of it. So how
Yeah,
about I try?
I was gonna say I like the charge head approach, so I'll head straight for him, and you can try to flank around,
All right.
give chase.
So I interpret that as Kadark will do the attack, and I will attempt to assist him.
All right. Do note you guys don't have proficiency in this, of course. So you'll be
That's
rolling.
fine. We're just spending some quarters,
Yeah.
at the arcade. First try. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, if you shoot it down, you might not get shot down. But yeah, so if you guys have your plan there, I will quickly move us into the support phase. So,
All right.
Jato, with your support, please.
Okay. I guess we're still using our even in I guess in a mecha situation we're still using our normal skills to
Yep.
do things.
But you can use the mecha's equipment suites also.
Okay. Let's see here. Decapitating equipment suite is cluster missiles. All right. There doesn't seem to be anything assist wise, or is it kind of like?
Well, if you can justify it.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I suppose I would have reasoned that I use the equipment suite of cluster missiles to maybe cover Kadurk's advance. You know,
All right.
kind of giving them covering fire.
All right, I'll allow that.
All right, so let's see here. And as an equipment suite, it is additional 3 dice to the dice pool, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. 8d6, and for assisting, go.
And
That
also to
is
give you a little more of the idea of the area seems to be an open, shallow tropical sea with numerous sand shells and coral reefs located beneath the surface. Teeming with life, a few of the deep sections contain rocky outcroppings and crags. Dotted between the waves are small tropical islands which boast thick vegetation in their interior surroundings by long golden brown sandy beaches. Above, white clouds are sprinkled between the open blue sky.
all right. Well, don't try to go for a swim on your first day.
All
All
right,
right.
let's
After rolling, looks like I got 3 successes. I think. Maybe?
with the hindrance from this actually, since you don't have proficiency in it.
Okay.
Uh,
Just 2.
let me do do. I forgot to copy this part, I think. One notable thing that this thing that you notice is that it has an automated independent weapon targeting system, which, in gameplay terms, lets you use 2 equipment suites per turn.
Things all kind of souped up.
Mm-hmm. This thing is cutting edge, and as you lock on, you lock on the cluster missiles and you fire them ahead of both of you, Jato. The radar or the secret head growls in your ears as you fire the missile, and these smaller, they're not exactly huge missiles, drop out and fire forward before the engine cuts out, and out of the tip of them tons of missiles just as they all go out and explode ahead of Kadirk in order to try and cover his advance. And Kadirk, ops phase.
Yeah, so Kaderk is gonna fly head on towards the enemy target here with this cluster of missiles flying around him apparently. I've been looking at the options here. So even though I'm attacking, do I still have the ability to leverage one of these equipment suites?
Yeah, no, you can use an equipment suite anywhere. If you can justify an equipment suite being used for something, you can.
Perfect. So I think in this case, then we're going to try and go for a more precision shot in the midst of all of this. I want to use, I think, this advanced FLTA
All right.
to target with my heavy turret that I have
All right.
located
Sounds good.
here.
Yep, you've got a large-scale rotary gun there. So you can definitely do that if you want to roll it.
Okay, so let me think here. How's that going to work?
So you choose your
Skill-wise.
two skills that you want to have or want to use. Like for example, let me have your sheets somewhere in my computer here.
Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look here. Like, I'll probably use my rally cry ability as we charge forward here.
All right.
Yelling at Jato to cover me as I charge in here, and it's all part of our strategy, so we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I have a burnout level of 5, that means that if I use 5 skills, I take a point. Or
Yep. If you use
I can
5 dice from your skills together,
Okay.
you'll do it. So like you could use Rally Cry and Ironclad Strategy, but if you used,
But I can always under.
yeah, you
I
can
can
always
always
undercut
use,
also.
Okay. So I'll do that. I'll only use 4. I'm not going to burn myself out on a simulator here. Although Kedrick does suddenly remember that there's probably people watching this match from outside the simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll use 4 dice out of my skills, but then this advanced FLTA is going to give me an extra 2 because it's a
Yep.
skill 2. Okay, so
And
I'll
it
roll
doesn't-
66.
And you don't got to worry about the skill dice from the equipment suite hurting your burnout.
Right.
Nice.
There we go. So 4 successes with those 2 extras, or those 2 6s.
All right. So as the blast streak forward and the missiles provide assistance to keep the enemy from initially targeting you, you pop out and you have the additional 2 successes. So you got 6 successes total. How are you splitting those up, attack and defense wise?
I'm going full attack. We're all in.
6 into attack. All right. So you manage to get the heavy turret around and start putting out the rotary cannon starts tracking the enemy fighter, even though it's using the sun in its back, and sprays shots all over it. Quickly, it banks and weaves, dodging quickly, trying to prevent you from getting a target lock on it. And as it does, it proceeds to launch its own missiles back towards you. Its own cluster missiles, which impact all around you, shaking up the mecha, causing 3 total damage before your 4 damage before your armor, which your armor luckily soaks 3. But now here's where I get to introduce how mecha work. So where it says hardware there, it says hardware 5.
Yep.
When you take damage, you can sacrifice any one of your hard points to soak that damage instead of it going to your structure.
Okay.
So in this case, you have 1 damage that's lingering after this.
So I'll take a grazing hit along my nose, destroying one of my nose lasers.
All right, yeah, the nose lasers get hit. Your nose section gets like a hole through it as one of the missiles impacts and detonates the heat warhead inside, just shooting straight through. Yep. So you managed to do that, but it turns out your return fire is just not effective enough. This thing takes the shots, and what ones that do hit it just seem to bounce off of it as it screams past you. Both of you going canopy to canopy as you see an enemy pilot in what looks to be a flight uniform passing right past you, and they're angling in towards Jato, who's behind you.
Uh-oh.
And that's where we'll go to the next communications phase.
I don't think I even heard him.
That's okay. You've definitely punched through the armor a little bit. I'm going to gamble that we outnumber them 2-1, and we outmass them probably not 2-1, but some ratio of that. So if we just keep pounding away at them, at least one of us will make it before they do.
All right, I'll swing around and try and keep putting shots into him.
Let's see. Based upon this, might be more general knowledge than
Mhm.
anything else. Do we know how well robotechnology fighters do? In the water.
So you can definitely go underwater in some of the spots, and with these fighters, you're not exactly sure how deep you can go underwater. But for the most part, you should be fine. You're not going to definitely be speeding around in fighter jet mode underwater, but you can definitely use your thrusters to maneuver underwater.
Okay, let's see here. I'm wondering if we should do some fancy fly to try and take advantage of the terrain as much as we possibly can to maybe get an upper hand.
Mm.
Uh, I suppose. Let's see here. How would that break down in the action phase? Let's see here. Um, let's see. I'm thinking Jato is thinking that maybe if they launch more missiles into, I guess, the surrounding water. Uh, what I imagine is basically they're going nape of earth, like
Hmm.
skimming over the sea, and as Jato is getting tailed by this Delta fighter, they're going to launch missiles into the sea to basically launch water all over the sea and maybe interfere with sensors and such. So, I think that'll be would that be a cinematic inhibit action? You think, or something else?
Well, you can use it could definitely work for that. And since you can use 2 equipment suites, I'll give you the cluster missiles equipment suite, along with 2 dice for an environmental equipment suite, because you're using the environment to help you.
All right. I'll do exactly that. So let's see here. The way I'm describing this feels a lot more like an obscure role, so I think
Okay,
I'll
if you
bang
want to
on
do that,
that.
we can do that. And Kadirk, what are you thinking?
Kadirk is
You gonna go full
thinking
bear?
since this guy flew right by him, he's going to use his handbrake to try and get swung back around here real quick, and back on track behind this guy that just blew past him,
Mm-hmm.
and then use this decapitating burst equipment suite. 'Cause you said we can use 2 equipment suites a turn.
Yep, because of the way that the mech is built. Yep.
And so we're going to use that to fire the gun pod at an accelerated rate here
All right.
and
Yep.
just try to pour fire into him.
All right. That sounds good. So we'll then move on to the support phase. Jato, your obscure action.
All right. So I am going to use my scanning sweep ability, or sorry, skill, along with rapid fire for 5d6, and then it's 5d6, and then I'm using cluster missiles, which is skill 4, so that's 9d6, and then you said two plus additional 2 dice for environmental. Is that what you said earlier?
Yep.
All right. Well, that is 11d6, and hopefully I will obscure the crap out of this person, but we'll see. Go 6s, go. Only 2 6s, but that's
I mean, it's
still
still 4
4.
successes.
Yep.
Yep. So you get absolutely as low to the water as you can, and noticing that this guy is behind you, you quickly, hearing that target, target lock warning, you fire the missiles, but you're low enough that the missiles, instead of dropping down and forward, you actually just straight up drop them into the water just about as when they're breaking apart. That way they just hit the water and all these pillars of water break up right behind you. And
Nice.
you hear the sound of the lock break, and Kadirk, as you see this, you see the person in front of you go straight into the clouds of water, and you angle in, you're waiting for them to pop out the other side as you're trying to get behind them, and they don't come out the other side.
What now?
And that's where we'll move to the ops phase, as the target seems to have vanished.
Come on, accuracy by volume.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kedrick's got his hand on the trigger. He's just gonna pump as many rounds out of this gun pod as he can at his last projected heading for the enemy target.
All right.
That's about how that should go.
Yep. So you
Fair enough.
So you lay out fire into where you think they're going to be, and as the shots punch through the water clouds, you quickly notice that they're not where they're supposed to be, only for them to pop out the top of the water spout, not behind where you were aiming, as they come up for you and fire away with their gun pod with extreme accuracy and destroy yours. Before screaming out past
subtle
you.
curse under his breath as he takes that fire.
But now they've screamed up into the vertical of the fight, going out of the water, destroying your gun pod with their twin ion pulse cannons. And we'll move to the next communications phase.
Well, this doesn't seem to be working out very well for us. Or for me specifically. Got any good ideas here?
All right. But you still have good armaments, right? You still
I still have some weapons. Yep. I've got cluster missiles, I think.
These cluster missiles seem to be pretty effective. I think we can bank on those as much as we possibly can. I say we just both go full out attack on them.
Okay. I'm for it. Kedrick likes a charging attack.
All right. In that case,
yep.
Okay.
No, just it sounds like we're both going to go into the ops phase and just straight up attack and see how far we go.
All right. In that case, I'll let you both roll that.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. The cluster missiles don't seem to be empty yet. I'm just going to keep pumping those until something goes click.
Well,
all right,
with the whole war with the Invid, they had to make sure that they had enough missiles to go forward.
Fair enough. So I guess you said earlier that with the equipment suites we can use two equipment slots.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what?
But you cannot use the same equipment suite twice.
I mean that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go do the full on Alpha Strike thing this time. I'm going to lean on those missile pods, and I guess I'll use the. I will attempt to use the decapitating burst. So.
All right.
All right, so that's going to be. Let's see here. Skill 3 plus skill 4, so 76 plus 5, so that's 12d6. All right, let's try and punch through their defenses and attacks and all of that fun stuff. And I'm not going to try and rely on them still trashing Kedrick, but maybe yeah, let's find out. Oops, I mistyped that. Okay, and go.
That's 2 successes.
It looked really nice.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you remember, you do have your nature rerolls.
I do have my nature reroll. All right.
You can always reroll with it.
I think I might as well. I will rely on their calm nature as outwardly they're probably they've been observing the situation of his wingman getting cored 2 times in a row and everything, but then there's some calming part in the back of Jato's mind, which is like, all right, you got this. This is just a simulation. There's no big deal. Yeah, just have fun. The whole time. So they are remaining calm. I will rely on that disposition to do so. So, all right. So 11d6 because I'm rerolling everything except for that one success.
Mm-hmm.
And getting the exact same solution. Yes.
Kedrick, it's your time to shine, baby.
All right. Well, Kedrick is going to use these cluster missiles, hopefully to great effect, and Since I lost my gun pod, I guess I'll be down to. We'll try to leverage these forward-looking sensors again.
All right.
And go for a. I think that puts me at 10d6.
Oh, that's 6.
And he's feeling pretty good about that.
You want to re-roll it or keep it?
I'll. Do I have to re-roll the whole thing, or can I re-roll
just the
misses?
ones that you don't like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna re-roll the ones that I missed, which would be 7d6 using my fearless element. He's just charging in, even though his ship has taken some significant damage, and
All right, that's
secure
8
one more
successes.
success.
Yeah, you guys. So, Jato, noticing that the bandit's not behind you, you kick in like the air brakes and pull hard on the stick. And even though this is a simulation, you can feel the gravity like push down on you and squeeze into you as you tightly turn this back skywards, trying to get towards the hostile. Before you launch your volley of missiles, which sadly most of them go waywards, but several of them do seem to get somewhat close. Meanwhile, Kadirk, you're closer to them, and you manage to angle yourself up from right behind them and quickly fire up. And you quickly notice that this guy can fire backwards, as a couple of shots swish right past your canopy, but mainly they seem to be focused on defense. But even with that, you still do some damage to this guy, it looks like, as several of the missiles make impact and parts of the mecha fall off.
Eric shouts out in excitement, I hit him! I hit him!
And that's when you notice one of the shots impacting you.
Oh no.
And luckily for you, Muratagi Heavy Industries makes very heavy armor, and it soaks the shot.
Oh,
but it does shake you violently. But with that, we'll go on to our final phase. It's
I imagine like all the alarms and stuff are beeping in my
yeah,
cockpit,
you got
taking so many shots. Edric will just kind of I guess call out to Jato. Let's keep on him. I think we're making progress.
You got it, Bear One.
I'll
Just call
cover
out your
you
bearing.
this time. You you lead the charge.
Will do. Don't don't use me as a shield this time.
No promises. I'm barely hanging on over here.
Fair enough. Okay, so we'll just lay into we'll try and do a fusillade of fire again. And I guess it sounds like we're both doing attacks, so we'll try it again. All right.
Yeah, I've run out of other weapons, so I'm going to be doing the same set of cluster missile strikes here, I think.
All right. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to do exactly what we did before. So we'll just
all right,
try
I'll
it
follow
again.
your lead.
And so as you guys are coming up towards them, locking onto them, the enemy fighter almost turns off its engines and starts to pinwheel through the air before shooting straight back down towards you, looking like it's going to joust the both of you.
Okay. I guess what I imagine is Jato is pulling on that lever to convert it into battleoid mode, and pulling, pushing, and pointing every single weapon at this guy's vector, and just flipping every single switch. That I guess there's that one meme image of like
all the missiles,
more missiles, and all the missiles, and so I'm going to hit all of those switches and do exactly that. So. All right, so that's 5 dice, and then I'm using the cluster missile suite. What was it last time? It was 12d6, so that should be the same thing. So, all right, 12d6, and only one success that time. So I'm not gonna modify it. I'll just roll with it.
All right, so 2 successes. Kadirk, got this.
Dirk rolls. He's got his 10d6,
It's 4
and
successes
then
total.
he's gonna go ahead and proc his other nature, his loyalty to his teammates. He said he was gonna cover his buddy here, and he's intending to put all of his energy forth to do just that.
On the 2 successes. So you guys have a total of 6 successes, and this guy comes screaming down at you and is firing away with his own cluster missiles and his ion cannons before managing to, Kadirk, both you and Jato fire out the missiles, and the missiles pass through each other in the air before clustering out, and both of you pull on your sticks as hard as you can to avoid the barrage, but it's a withering barrage, and the moment that the two of you think it's over, the several shots from their ion cannons manage to hit you and shred your fighters. Alarm warnings going off, ejection warnings, and at this point, both of you guys see yourselves spiraling down into the ocean, but at the same time, you notice that the enemy fighter is also falling out of the sky, and right before impact into the water, the simulation ends.
Woo! I'll take a draw. Kedrick's feeling really good about himself. He'll climb out of the. I assume the pod's like kind of shutting down and stuff. So
Yep, no, it shuts
climb-
down and resettles down, and some students are talking like, "Wow, look at those guys! They managed to they almost looked like they knew what they were doing."
Kedrick, as he's climbing out, is stretching out. He's like, first time.
Jato is kind of, I trying to take it all in. What I imagine them is like they're saying in the back of their head is like they played simulators before, at whatever spaceports they've been through. There's always been simulator things, but this one from Muratagi Heavy Industries in the heart of Arcadia Academy. This simulation has, all of the senses, all of the gravity things. It's just a little bit overwhelming. They kind of felt like they were actually there, sort of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kadirk manages to climb out. You kind of melt out of it, but you guys manage to get out. And at this point, one of the other students seems to move over to you. He seems like an older student, likely not one of the new transfers like you guys. Hey, you two fly pretty good. How about you thought about joining any of the clubs?
Clubs? What kind of clubs?
There's a couple of ones, like there's the Global Appreciation Club and like the Academy Idols, but I'm here to try and get you guys to sign up for the Academy Airshow team.
Airshow team.
Yeah, it's
that old Earth tradition.
All student run, and we compete yearly in the Trans-Mars Air Race. Everyone gathers for it. It's happened about midway through the school year this year.
Kedrick seems intrigued by this. He says, I might be interested. I'll let you know after we get through registration. It's first day, so we're still feeling the waters out. But I might take you up on that.
All right. He hands you like a name thing, and his name is the name or the club, like a club like card, and it says that he's the president of it, and his name is uh John Troy.
John Troy. President of the student
Air show. Yeah.
But with that, he gives you guys a wave before heading off, and at this point, it's getting a little bit late.
Yeah, we've had some good times, some downtime. It's probably appropriate to head back to the dorms and get settled and such.
Mm-hmm. and you guys are easily able to find your way back. And for the most part, the dorms are actually pretty nice. Kelly Setsuban is basically manages the your guys' dorm and such, but you guys are able to quickly find your rooms, and you're actually bunking together.
Oh, how about that?
Convenient.
Each dorm seems to have two people inside of, or two people per dorm, with men on the right side of the hallway, women on the left side of the hallway. It is also noted that there is a rule set up before you guys head down your hallway that peeking into the other dorm or attempting to sneak inside of the other gender's dorm will not be tolerated.
Oh dear. Hopefully they
So
don't
many
have some sort of.
rules.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if there's going to be some sort of anime style onsen that connects them to for any sort of
Mm-hmm.
hijinks. But we'll save that for some other session.
But with that, though, you guys are able to quickly, put your stuff away for the most part. The rooms are rather barren. They're what you expect of a dorm. And you guys finally, after the stress of today from having to deal with terrorists attacking your spaceport and having to save the day, to also then having a mountain of information dropped on you, which is all conveniently, luckily available on your tablet, you guys are finally able to drift off to sleep. And with that,
Yeah, I
we were
guess
going
I
to take
forgot
a.
this is
Oh, good.
all on the same day, so
Yeah, very, very stressful day. But with that, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break to hit the bathroom, and that stuff we will be right back.
sounds good.
All right.
Oh, there we go, that one. Hello and welcome back. We're back and ready for some more fun of the Academy kind.
Yay!
Woo.
Woo!
We're well rested now.
Yep, you guys can reset your natures and stuff if you've used them in the previous encounter. Actually, we'll wait another 8 seconds because there's an ad break. Okay, there we go. Welcome back, everyone, from the ad break. We just got back ourselves. We are ready and good to go. So, with that, you guys are awake the next morning, about 7 or 8 in the morning, to the sound of other students starting to get out of bed and figure out what they're going to be signing up for curriculum-wise. And this is where I'm going to ask you guys, as you guys wake up in the morning, how does your morning routine usually go?
It's funny. I actually thought about this a bit because as a giant bear covered in fur, I imagine that there's probably a bit of getting everything to not look like bedhead. So
Yeah, you've got bed body.
yeah, bed body. So I think I probably jump in the shower and then have some kind of a really elaborate blow drying routine.
Yeah, and there's so yeah, you guys are able to, gather up, gather up yourself to get yourself dried off and cleaned up and all that. And it takes a while. And I imagine, do you shed?
Oh yes, I'm sure I do.
Oh yeah.
So, Jato, you awakes in the morning to the sound of a bear doing his manicure and making sure he is ready for the day, and you find a hairball like laying on your face.
Uh,
Oh.
and then I look up on my con tablets. Industrial sized. What's the sticky hair removal
Yeah,
things?
industrial sized,
That's
lint catchers or whatever.
yes. And I place an order with Martian Amazon, whatever the
Hmm.
equivalent would be.
Yeah, no. So you ordered
Same day
that through
shipping.
MHI. But yeah, no,
So
you
yeah,
get your order. They say they'll be here later today, actually.
nice. But otherwise, Jato's morning routine. I imagine being on board a ship, they have to be pretty fast about doing things. So it's probably a pretty Spartan routine.
Hmm.
Just cleaning themselves as fast as possible. But and then what I also imagine is they're used to being like in spaceborne attire, so they'll be like kind of dressed up in I guess in work overalls, something that's probably a little bit more danger oriented than
Hmm.
would normally be on a planetary surface.
Yeah, no, you were able to. So yeah, you guys managed to get yourself dressed and cleaned up. And coming up this morning, you guys actually have the decision of what you guys are going to have for breakfast.
Okay.
Callie sets you on down in the kitchen in the dorm. There's a full kitchen. She's making some food for anyone who's actually, hungry or wants, some cooking that they're not going to pay for. But there's obviously,
Always.
like other places to grab food this morning.
Um, Sorry, I'm looking. So Callie, oh, the professor,
Hmm.
student representative lady. Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
She basically
Ketterkel.
acts as like your dorm manager to make sure you're fine.
Okay, yeah, I mean Ketterk will go down there and see what he can find. Some sausages and bacon or something like that. He's not particularly a breakfast person, but it's the first day of actual academy here, so he's gonna try and start the day off right with some good meat.
Hmm.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, this is like a fully stocked kitchen that they have. Um, and your dorm, there's some people who are like eating oatmeal or something. Some are, having pancakes. It's kind of just whatever you want. You can kind of take it. It's obviously if you start taking a lot of it, they might start asking you to pay for it.
Sure.
But you're able to get some food and You see Jinx slowly wandering out of his room, like, why do I have to get up so early? Like, and as he's walking out, he unfortunately is trailing like a piece of toilet paper off his foot.
Oh, gross. Yeah. Ketter just kind of looks over. You okay over there, sir?
I could barely even sleep last night.
Space lag.
No, after we separated, I accidentally fell into one of the fountains and it was horrible.
Well, you know what they say: when you're at the very bottom, you only everything looks, on the up and up, right?
That's easy for you to say. People keep calling me bad luck for some reason.
And is there like a do they have a morning mishap as they say that? Like
Yeah, like as they do that, someone opens their door into his face.
Oh.
And he just goes, "Ah, my nose!"
Ketter tries to stifle a laugh, but it kind of comes out as just this low growl.
well, maybe the academy has courses on how to improve your luck. They offer everything here, after all.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe it's in the night courses or something.
Well, keep your head up.
But it's at this point, you guys, you get your breakfast um, and you're kind of looking over your data pads, and it's the choice of curriculums is today. With classes starting later today, so you guys will actually have some time to figure out what classes you are wanting to go into. And so this is where I ask, what type of career are you guys going into out of the in-game ones?
So Kadirk is got his heart set on going down the officer training path.
All right, so
He
you
wants
choose.
to pilot a starship eventually.
All right, so you choose. So you're choosing that and getting ready to work your way up into the world of officers.
Officer training school.
Mm-hmm.
Jato.
No, go ahead.
Jato. Sorry, you continue.
No. You go ahead. Sorry.
Jato is looking down the class selection and kind of grumbling to themselves because he's quite sure that he's learned everything that this school already has to offer in regards to technician training school, but he has to get the certifications and all that. So he'll
Mm-hmm.
grudgingly sign up for all the technician courses that he will,
Yep.
has to meet the minimum requirements and all that fun stuff.
Now, technician does have 3 different variations. You have doctor, engineer, and scientist, along with a scavenger course, but that seems to be more like a civilian-based course.
Okay.
I'm assuming you want engineering?
Yes.
Okay, yep. So I will send each one of you your first semester class list. So let me drop that to Dirk.
And then for me, out of there's 3 elements there. I think I was going down the exemplar path.
Yep.
Exemplar
So
school.
for right now, this is like you. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I sent you the wrong list.
Secret.
There you go. And for JTO in engineering, now you actually have a free slot in your courses.
Yay.
So you have the ability to choose any class for this open slot you want, which I will drop for you now. And by that I mean I've actually got a roll or a thing in the Roll20 for you.
All right.
All players. There we go. should be available in the handout section.
The handout section.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. What now? Journal.
Yeah, the
handouts.
journal. Yep. Should say classes there.
Perfect. I see it.
Awesome. So yeah, you can choose.
Let's see here. I don't see it, but oh there. Okay, there it is. Okay, classes. There we go.
Okay.
I see it now.
So you can choose any one of these classes to fill up that last slot for you.
All right.
And it's as you guys are kind of figuring out what you're going to do, a female student actually walks on over and sits down next to you guys. So I assume that you guys are other students here?
I
Yes,
look
yeah.
over. Is it Rinko or is it
No,
someone?
it's a new one.
Oh, okay.
She sounded too nice to me, Rinko.
I will automatically assume that everyone is that they slither into the sea will always be Rinko. So
Yeah, no, this one, you can see she's definitely not as scary, but has a firm, like, rigidness to them already, like as if they're a soldier or aiming to be one. And she'll smile and go, well, my name's Emma Rosh. It's nice to meet you.
Emma Rush. Okay.
Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm Kedrick. What are you attending the academy for?
I'm looking to enlist into the military, and this seems like the best way to do it once I get through the military training course. I'm specifically going into the piloting course.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I'm attempting to apply for officer training myself.
Ah, interesting. Maybe you'll one day be in command of me.
That could very well happen if things go well for me.
At this
Well,
point,
you guys can do all the technical thing, or you guys can do all the commanding and shooting. I think I'm gonna stick with being an engineer around here.
and she'll go, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their specialties.
Somebody's got to keep the lights on.
Well, Emma, so where in this grand universe of ours, where do you come from?
Oh, I was actually born on the SDF-3.
Hmm.
So I was out on the I was out on the outskirts of the Sentinel space for a while. Right there in where my parents were stationed.
Were your parents also part of the military as well?
To this she nods. Yes, they're both in the military, and when Edward started his whole rebellion, I decided it would be best to come and study while also trying to see if I can't get some work out here.
Well, we've got a while to study and do things yet before we get involved in the greater world, as it were. So
Mm-hmm.
let's take things small for now.
At this point, another student walks over, a man. This one is not Leroy Jenks. He's different, and he's a little more hardened looks, but he's kind of got a big, stupid grin on his face. Hey,
Okay.
name's Kyle Streaker. You guys also students here?
Well, I don't think they allow visitors just yet. So yeah, well, guilty as charged.
Nice to meet you. So where are you guys coming from?
Oh,
Eric pipes in and says, Karbara, I've just arrived yesterday.
Yeah, nice. I haven't been out that space before. I'm from Colony 14 at Saturn.
Jato's like, just been on ships my whole life, so I guess I'm very good at being from nowhere in particular.
Nice. And one thing I will say is that you notice that Snicket, that or rather Jato, sorry, that he has a tattoo on his forearm of a 14. And
Quality 14. Okay.
being around, you know that this is actually a symbol of the O14s, which were a notorious street gang of thugs there, from what you've heard.
Could you say that one more time? I didn't quite catch that.
Oh, sorry. You know that from your time in space and traveling around that the O14s are they're a gang of thugs. The heck is this guy doing here?
Interesting. Okay. With that, I guess I try to like I probably Jato is probably wearing a an expression of weariness on their face, but they try to be polite and not draw attention. It's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Colony 14, huh? I haven't heard from any news from that area for a very long time. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really funny way of saying it, but yeah. Um, I actually came to the school here to try and become a teacher.
Any specifics?
Nah, I just like the idea of teaching people. I was back on the colony. I was tutoring some kids and my friends, and just kind of fell in love with the idea of teaching.
Hedrick kind of puffs up his chest a little bit, and like, teaching is a noble profession. Good on you.
And at this point, a bell rings above. Students, make sure you, and a voice comes over. All students, make sure that you have finished your curriculum sign-on reports or your curriculum sign-on sheets to get yourselves into the first batch of classes today. We wouldn't want any students without, or with too much free time on their hands. Ha 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 ha. And it's the voice of the dean Dean Carlos Gutierrez.
Carlos Gutierrez.
Mm-hmm. I will drop it into the Discord. But with that, though, the other two students go, or rather, I should say, Kyle goes. Oh, I forgot to do that. Sorry to say hi and dash, but I gotta go finish that up. And then he like runs off before Emma just chuckles. I've already finished mine, but I should probably be getting ready to head out to class myself. I hope that we'll see each other around going forward.
I'd love that. Maybe next time we meet, you can share some stories of what it was like being on the SDF-3. I've always wanted to get a chance to go aboard the ship. It would be great to hear secondhand from you some stories of what it was like.
I think I can do that. And at this point, she'll stand up and give you both a polite nod and head off herself, leaving you both alone at your table with your finished breakfasts.
All right. Well, I look over the course curriculum. All right. I'm kind of at a loss, as I could take computer science and I could take design and crafting. Both of those sound pretty useful. I have to admit that I don't really have any exposure to either of these, so maybe I'll actually get something out of my time here. What about you, Kadirk? How's your syllabus looking?
My syllabus is not the most exciting stuff here. I've got strategy training. That might be good. Business, I think I've got a little bit of a handle on that. But leadership and mental health studies. I'm sure these are all important classes, but I was really hoping for, some kind of space combat, ship piloting. But I suppose we'll get into that. I'm probably just rushing things.
Well, there's still another semester to get through, but
True, very
well,
true.
if they offer how to be a hard ass class, I hope you will skip that one.
Design and crafting, though, you mentioned. That sounds very interesting. I'm kind of curious what kinds of things somebody with your talents could come up with.
Uh,
But
Crafting
computer
insults,
science is always helpful, especially on a ship.
definitely. I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out in a little bit. Maybe I'll craft an insult. Hey, no, bad joke. Okay, fine.
And so, with that, the bell to signal the first day of classes is upon you. And unfortunately, you will have to split up from here due to the fact that you don't share too many classes.
Yeah, no, not too surprising given our differences in occupation.
Well,
And
we're still rooming together, so we'll
Mhm.
catch
That's
up.
true.
so you guys do note that one of the instructor or one of the nurses walks by and goes, "Are you Kadirk and Jato?"
That's us, Kidderk says with a cheery smile.
Ah, I'm sorry to report that your friend Marzi, I believe their name was unfortunately got a little sick, and they will be around hopefully later today or the next day. They seem to have had a bad reaction to some food they ate.
Oh dear. Hopefully it wasn't the
Uh,
wonderful meat wraps.
well, she was I don't know, as we were crawling around a little bit. That she kept it on a holster, so and not
She,
a well engineered holster, I imagine. So
yeah, and she probably
probably not
still
as
ate it after we were otherwise occupied for a good half day there. Maybe not kind of dwelling on this. Maybe not so surprised that she maybe got some food poisoning or something.
well. Tell her a swift recovery and all that. We'll visit her if she's not out before then.
Yep, I can do that. And she'll head off at this point, and that leaves you guys to head to your classes.
All right, Kadirk.
Awesome.
Unless you guys decide to
Well,
skip
we'll
class, you can.
no.
Nah,
Kedrick is
not the
normal
first day.
by the
We'll
books.
consider
Yeah, he's gonna dive into his studies here, even the classes that don't interest him quite so much.
Okay.
I'll admit I'm reading the descriptions of these classes since you provided the class list. It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all these classes were uh, handmade by by the writers of this game to kind of sell the idea a little bit better that this is, well, a school.
Kedrick's really excited about the strategy training course. That's a little bit
Mhm.
more in depth than he had thought it would be at a glance. So that's right up his alley. That's what he came here to learn about.
Yep, and with that, as you guys split up to never see each other again until tonight, you head different ways. Now, the engineering class actually does take place in the research wing, using the lower section of it in order to give more physical, give a more physical hands-on way with it, Jato.
that. All right.
And as you get through there, there's a couple of new students. You don't really recognize any one of the ones you've spoken to until you feel the hair on the back of your neck stick up.
I mean, it's like, oh dear, here it comes again. I'm immediately thinking, I guess I do the whole like immediately spin 180 and I
Mhm.
still don't catch them sort of scenario.
No, you turn around and there she is behind you, sitting in the seat that behind you, or rather walking right behind you, is Rinko, and she's like, "Oh, it looks like we're both heading off to the engineering course."
Looks like I don't expect to learn anything new based on my experience, but I don't know. We'll see.
No, I know that
Are you
feeling
are you
too.
are you are you looking to be a technician full time as well?
Hmm, I'm more taking up a wide swath of courses.
I see. Well, since it seems that we're going to be seeing each other for a while, Where are you from, Rico?
Oh, I was just
Around.
raised on the Jupiter Colony Research Station. Both of my parents were scientists there.
Well, this is a long way from Jupiter, but I suppose if there's a place to learn, it'll be here.
Though, like you, I've already been exposed to a lot of practical knowledge, so I'm not really sure how much this school will actually teach.
I know, right? I wish there was some way we could just opt out of this whole thing, but you know, advanced civilization with robotechnology, and we still can't figure out how to do anything outside of a classroom.
Well, think of it like this. At least we get to interact with each other.
I if there was a collar to pull on my shirt, I'll do exactly that. I'll make an awkward cough and like, yeah, I guess socialization is really important. Cough, cough, look away, turn, cough
Hmm.
again.
And she doesn't say too much more after that, just kind of following you.
Observing. Uh,
And when you get to the class, she even takes a seat, like, right behind you.
okay.
But when you get
I
there, okay.
no, it's just I when I get down is I wrote a note to myself is to like make some sort of mirror to look behind me the whole time, so sort of thing. Like glasses, and there's like a mirror taped to the ends of the back of it, so I can always look behind me or something.
And so, as you get into class, though, you find Professor Callie Setsubun's the one here.
Oh, nice.
And as she waits for everyone to, uh, you know, sit down and calm down, she'll eventually go, well, hello, class. To start today, I want to see what each one of you says to this question. What's the difference between an engineer and a mechanic?
Let's see. Jato will answer is that a mechanic will rely on their knowledge. An engineer will rely on their creativity.
Mm, definitely, it's definitely possibly an answer, but I'm only going to give you half credit for that one. The real difference is that, well, mechanics focus on fixing things in a shop, engineers will either create the solutions or have to do it out in the field. At least that's from what my personal experience has taught me. Now then, I'm going to ask each one of you why you decided to take down this course, just to get a idea of what I should expect from each one of you. And as she goes down the line of students, eventually, there's students that are like, I wanted to, learn how to build things. I wanted to learn how to, uh, fix things. And then there's this one guy who's like, I really wanted to make the perfect robot wife. To which she just skips over him immediately, not saying anything. And then it gets to you. All right, what do you want? And if you say to make the perfect robot wife also, my hopes for this class are going down quickly.
Um, Jato will answer is just like the lifeblood between the stars has always been starships. So I want to either work starships for the rest or be able to make them myself. One of the two.
Well, there's plenty of opportunities at the school to do that. And on top of that, right after school, you can always try to find a job with Muratagi Heavy Industries. Back there, the Miss Murataki herself even moved up from being a engineer into what she has become today with her massive company. And then she continues going down the line and eventually gets to, Rinko, and Rinko's just like, I just like the way things, I just like to look at the insides of things and see how they work.
Like, yeah. Mm.
Saying that with a 1,000-yard stare, I'm sure.
No, she's smiling as she says that.
All right.
And everyone kind of takes notice of it, but doesn't know what to say to it, as Callie just nods and goes, interesting. Well, there's plenty of courses for that. And then continues on before eventually starting to go into a basic, engineering course. There's nothing you haven't heard before. Basic principles of engineering, mathematics, design stuff. It's starting out simple, or rather, it's starting out simple to you, but probably in the intermediate range off the bat.
All right.
It's talking about, when should you use this type of valve, or in this situation, what should you do? And at one point, she asked you the question. Now, if I remember correctly, you're Jato on my list here, right?
That's correct.
In that case, since you want to be on a starship, what would you do if the main engine compressor seems to fail and cause a flameout?
Oh, one moment. I can't. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So as a main engine flameout, first is to run computer diagnostics to make sure it's not a software error. And all starships usually have a standard checklist as to diagnose the issue of the problem. I know engineers love to do their shortcuts and everything, but always start from the top of the list and go down. There has always been a procedure for this sort of thing, and you should follow it.
Mm-hmm. That is good for a traditional space liner, but if you do attempt to go into the military end of things, I would advise that you also work to split the labor on it.
Hmm. That makes sense. On the military side, you'd have a much larger crew, so you'd be able to do that. Huh. I didn't even think about that.
And that is what we here at the Academy are for, to help enlighten you and give you new ideas going forward. Now then, pull out your data pads and go to page 425 of the book I'm sending you. And it's a basic engineering book, and it very quickly devolves into very standard engineering things after that. Now, Kadirk, you are heading out to specifically, I open my list back up, to strategy training.
Woo!
Which, you're heading out there, and there's nothing really, you think that you got this down. It's something
Yeah.
you've probably had to, you've probably, knowing you've looked up and just read for fun.
I have, yes. This is the highlight of why I'm here, right? Is
Mhm.
naval combat. So
You've been out here trying to, you've been, reading, the equivalent of the Bare Art of War,
All right.
just for fun, and now you're here at school to do the same thing. And as you enter into the class, the pink officer is there to greet the class, it seems.
Nice.
And as you enter in, you see on the table is a name tag with Colonel Greta von Einricht. I will drop that name into the chat for you.
There's a big name. Perfect.
And once everyone settles in, no one exactly starts speaking up, and she immediately chooses you out of the crowd. You, I believe your name is Kidirk.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm about to lay out a situation for you, and I want to see what tactical analysis you give it within 15 seconds.
Boy.
You are part of initial drop force in order to lay down a secure area for landing of a larger invasion force. The unfortunate situation is it's a deep jungle, and your forces are spread thin already, and you don't know exactly where the enemy forces are located in comparison to yours. How do you go forward from this while maintaining both your objective and area security for your units?
Edric pauses for a few seconds because he's trying to absorb all this information and kind of starts to stammer maybe just a smidge because his mental focus has been more on space side of things, and kind of goes well, I would order my troops to spread out and recon the area, and I would probably try to make communication with the
At this point, she
the
cuts you
capital ship
off.
and
She cuts you off. You have taken too long, and at this point, you're yeah. She cuts you off, and she goes, "You have taken too long to answer the question, and led to an ambush of your own forces with your own indecision. While you are all here for tactics of various levels and areas, may it be starships, fighter-based, or ground-based. You must be able to take the knowledge you know of your topics and apply it to other areas. This course will not cover just spaceborne combat, but will also cover sea-based, ground-based, and air and aerospace-based conquests. And I expect the rest of you to be able to. I expect you all to be able to, at the end of this course, be able to adapt on the fly to whatever question I ask."
Edric gives kind of a sullen yes ma'am response and looks sufficiently chastised, embarrassed that he didn't have a response ready.
And so, as the course starts going on, she introduces herself. She's, Greta von Einricht. She has she has a long and decorated military history, and is very open about the fact that more or less everyone she's known has died in war, either due to failures in leadership or failures on the battlefield, and is going to train you in order to deal with this and hopefully not lead to the same situation. With that, though, she also explains that
Hello?
Oh, you're cutting out.
Okay, is that better?
There you go.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yep.
That was the stupid headset, sorry. But as she goes on, she explains that she's commanded starships, military bases, and even though she was talking, while she was chastising you, she was talking to you. You noticed, not down to you.
Mm-hmm.
She's attempting to She's basically attempting to set up the situation of, if you want to be in this course, you have to be ready.
Sorry, my Discord just reset. I'm
Oh,
back.
good. I hate when that does that.
It just bleeped out. You said that she wasn't talking down to me; she was talking at me.
Yeah, she was she was talking to you, not down to you, when she was
Okay.
chastising you. And even though she was chastising you, she did not raise her voice. Her voice speaks in a confident and soothed tone that remains at its pitch level. She never jumps it up or down. at least so far.
Okay, so
And you
very
know,
matter of fact, just
yeah,
giving me how it is. Got it.
yep. She's not making fun of you or anything. It's a straight up. There's going to be a lot of coursework going outside of most of your safe areas.
Got it.
But with that, she pulls out the tablets, and in the center of the area, you notice, or rather, she presses a button, and you notice out of the center of the teaching area comes up a table of some kind. It's a holographic table by the looks of it. And she looks up to the group, to you and the other students, and goes, "Now then, in order to test to see where the student base is currently, we will conduct war games through holographic simulations. They will be entirely randomized in terms of forces on both sides and the situations." And she'll actually
Dirk
pull.
leans forwards. He's very excited about
Mhm.
this table and stuff.
And so she'll pull you and another one of the students down, a female student that you have yet to be introduced to. Though you notice she's got like wild and like bright, fluffy hair almost. Like that's the
Okay.
best way. It's wild and pumped out hair, and it's got very like it's a dark blonde almost, but with like streaks of cyan going through it.
Okay.
And
Would I recognize this as like a likely Zentradi
mm,
heritage person, or?
no, it doesn't seem to be,
Oh,
at
okay.
least as far as you can tell. But these days, with
Okay.
how humans and Zentradi have been,
That's true.
integrating,
Intermingled. Yep.
it's very hard to tell between most of the races without like an hard signifier. And so when you get down there, it shifts through a couple of things before settling onto a space asteroid belt battle. Your forces consist of one single Tokugawa carrier and 2 fighter wings, comparatively to their forces of 2, or rather 3 Invid clam ships, which are their carriers, and swarms of Invid. And she looks to you and goes, "Your forces have already been stuck in a long engagement, and many of your fighter wings are currently set to support ground forces in the invasion of the planet below you. But, well, but your escort has unfortunately let an enemy ship slip through and are now attacking directly onto your carrier. It's up to you to defend this." And she turns to them and goes to the other person and goes, "It is your duty to attempt to sink the carrier and make sure the invasion is disabled or is stopped."
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to treat this like a narrative conflict. So in this
Okay.
case, you're still rolling like normal, but it's against a dice value of basically the events going on. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to specifically say, "I'm telling the Tokugawa to do this." It's I'm trying to work through the situation.
Yep.
Okay,
Got it.
so comms phase. You've got the enemy forces ahead of you. I will grab the Tokugawa stat block for you, and you have Logans as your fighters of choice.
Okay.
Logans are like short range, snub nose interceptors with
Yep.
a very deadly plasma gun in the nose. And
And
you've
you
got
said I was up against what were the
three
enemy forces?
3 Invid clam ships with with swarms of Invid leaking out of them already.
Gotcha.
Tokugawa, there it is. Actually, we don't really need to do this. You give me some. So tell me what you're going to do and how you're working through this.
Yeah. So, keeping with Ketterk's tradition so far in his first day in school, he's he's got a very gung ho, all in kind of an attitude. And so his thought process is that he's gonna start off with a strong offensive. He's outnumbered. There's tons of fighters out there, and so his thought process is, let's take out some of these clamshells and do as much damage as possible very quickly, while the fighters, screen the Tokugawa here, and so that's what he's going to do. He's going to focus all of his energy in on one of these clamshells with the fighters running screening.
All right. In that case, give me your roll.
Yeah. So I will use my strategy. I've got my ironclad strategy here, at least in my own mind, and I don't know, rally cry, whatever. It's a roll 4d6. Boom.
All right, and you're not at hindrance for this.
Okay, perfect. So that's 3 successes.
3 successes. All right. Yeah. So you managed to quickly, you managed to quickly, organize the forces and start a screening maneuver with the Logans, who are going to try and get in close range and just stop the fighters as soon as they can. They're not armed with missiles, unfortunately, so they can't perform any long-range bombardments. But your ship can, which you fire off salvos of rounds at the enemy. The sorry, the rail cannon in the nose of the rail cannon in the Tokugawa firing away as the banks of particle cannons and point defense lasers try to help, put fire onto the enemy and funnel the enemy fighters into your own fighters. Fortunately, while you do seem to do some damage, yet your fighter wing is notably taking some losses. Several of the Logans are quickly impacted by suicidal invid forces or cut into pieces as multiple latch onto fighters that are stuck out alone, pulled away.
So Kedrick's going to be very concerned that he's starting to take losses so quickly in the conflict.
Now you are doing. Now your fighters are taking out a larger number of their stuff, but it's a simple matter of mathematics. They have a lot more than you do, which is why you're starting to take some losses. And you do actually manage to sink one of the carriers before it can unload its full complement of invid.
Perfect. But this is Kedrick's first simulated engagement here, with this level of detail, I imagine. So he's gonna rein himself in maybe a little bit, as we move into this exercise, and have the fighters kind of pull back a little bit, and not be quite so aggressive with the fighters. Have them, fall back towards the carrier, and under some of the point defense, and take more of a defensive role, while the Tokugawa, turns towards, you said we took out one of the clamshells, so we're going to take a more balanced approach, trying to take out that next clamshell, and not keep charging straight in. Kedrick's nerves are being tested a little bit, seeing losses pile up on the board.
All right, yeah. So in that case, you can roll it.
Oh,
oof! You want to re-roll that?
Kedrick's going to use. I mean, this is his first day. He's going to re-roll using his fearless nature, because he's just so. He knows that he knows what he's doing, and he's gonna keep to the plan here.
All right, that's 2 successes. I don't believe Kedrick has. Yep. Okay, so in this case, this time, unfortunately, it just doesn't look like you're able to put out enough fire. The momentary change from offensive footing to defensive footing has allowed the invid to swarm in hard, following close on the tails of your fighters as they try to pull back into the defensive array. Many more fighters are starting to fall, and one of the 2 fighter wings is completely wiped out at this point, with the other one suffering major losses, and even some of the invid starting to get onto the ship and start trying to burrow their claws into the hull. And this time you're only able to damage the second carrier instead of destroy it.
Okay. Um, let's see. Kedrick's going to order the battleship to continue firing on the clamshell and
Mhm.
have the remaining squadron, fall back completely to the ship and try to make sure we're getting all of the invid that are starting to, attack the ship directly, cleaned off as best we can.
All right, yeah. I'll let you roll that.
Oh, no.
Get your second reroll if you want it.
I do. Hedrick is,
Nice.
he believes in his troops. He's fiercely loyal to the rest of the squad here. We're gonna burn all of our nature and just go all in.
All right, so you're going all in, and at this point, there's a momentary collapse in the invid formation, which allows your fighters to break away as you bring your ship in at an almost parallel course, or almost a acute angle towards the enemy ships, ramming through some of the smaller invid ships that manage to impact your hull, while putting out devastating amounts of fire onto the invid clam ship before detonating it, leaving just one left.
Hedrick gives like kind of a small arm pump, like, yes, we've got a second one, and he's staring intently at the battlefield readouts here.
Mm-hmm. And to this point, Iron Rift goes, "The battle is not over yet. Do not celebrate."
And that like redoubles Kedrick's focus, and he's just completely focused, and so he orders all of his troops to go full in on the remaining clamshell here. He's gonna put everybody on the offensive.
All right.
And Kedrick is so invested in putting a good showing in on this very first exercise in class. He's actually going to take one tick of fatigue here and roll 5d6 on his skill roll for this.
Oh, you can roll a 5d6 normally because you have a burnout 5.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
My bad.
But still, that's 4 successes. And with this, you put everyone onto the attack, and the Invid, who are reeling from the damage sustained, are quickly able to. They're not able to keep up with the sheer amount of force that you're putting into this attack. And while the last fighter wing is wiped out, your ship manages to destroy the last enemy ship and also cause the rest of the remaining Invid to start scurrying away and retreat, making you the victor, but of a costly victory. The ship, at this point, Einricht goes, "You may have achieved victory, but losing 2 squadrons worth of Logans is not something that should be celebrated. On top of that, the ship has taken damage, and while it may still be able to support the invasion, will likely have to go back into dry dock after this. I ask that you take this victory and continue to hone your skills after this."
Hedrick, kind of looks at the scoreboard or whatever solemnly, and nods along as the professor's speaking, and
as you
says,
do,
yes.
As you look up to the scoreboard, you do notice that it has listed names for every single pilot lost in the squadrons.
Oh yeah, Kedrick kind of sees that, and it gives him an extra moment of pause, and he says something. I'm trying to think of something good, but I will do my best to improve my skills, and I take every life. Every life has value, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my best by my crew and my pilots.
And she'll notice this and nod before motioning for you to go back and sit down at your seats, with the other student offering a handshake. Well, like, good job or something,
Yep.
And you guys are both gonna head back to your seats, and she starts calling down other members of the class, and spends the rest of the class time doing these simulated engagements. Other ones get ground-based engagements focused on squad scales. One of them even gets a recreation of the Battle of Thermopylae that they have to manage to try and fight. Unfortunately, just like the fight of 300, just like the fight of the 300 Spartans, which weren't just 300 Spartans, they unfortunately do still also fall to their opponent. But eventually, class is done for the day, and you guys are able to get out of your classes and finally take a breath. And with that, you guys have a little bit of free time.
Awesome. So,
And actually,
meeting
you
up
guys are
with
going to also get a
Jato or
yeah. So as you meet back up with him, you're going to both get a message from the school on your tablets.
All right.
It's a reminder that both clubs and student work are available to those who wish to do something else outside of class, along with noting night classes are also available.
ooh. Kedrick's kind of an overachiever, so he's intrigued by the night classes idea.
Mm-hmm. Now, the clubs seem to, the clubs seem to range a little bit from what they cover, with their clubs being like the Robotech Research Club, the ASC Club, Global Appreciation Club, Biology Club, Astrology Club, Academy Idols, Academy Airshow Team, the Academy Volleyball Team, also. And the night classes I do actually have listed here for if you're interested in looking at them. Once I make that available here in about 10 seconds. Oh, there we go.
More classes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Leonard, Genius, or Madman. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these aren't serious classes. Ben Dixon, the modern savior. Oh my goodness. Is he secretly alive?
Oh dear.
Oh, that's awesome.
Rick
But
Hunter would have made it without Ben Dixon.
mm-hmm. But with that, you guys are finally able to meet back up, in the biodome. Things are going well. It's starting to go towards late afternoon at this point. As you
Um,
as you guys
uh,
finally meet back up.
I greet Kadirk and I hold up the Martian Amazon package. It's like awesome. This has come in. This will help out tonight. But enough about that. How was your first day of classes?
Kedrick, he's got a big smile on his face. He says, "I think it went good. I won my first strategic engagement in strategy training. I've got some things to learn, but it went well. How about yourself?"
Oh well, I didn't stand out too much. The teacher was actually our dorm room keeper, Miss Tetsuban. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so she's going to be. I predict she's going to be a familiar face for at least for me for quite a while. But otherwise, I gave some good answers and some wrong, some pretty mediocre answers. I don't think I made a good first impression, but you know what? That's okay with me. I didn't come here to stand out. I came here just to get my certificates and all that. So
Kedrick will kind of clap Jato on the back. It's the first day. There's plenty of time to stand out.
maybe the that Rinko girl, she's in my class. She's still. I don't know. It's a little bit unsettling, and as I say that, I make sure to look behind me before continuing on.
Yeah,
What I just
Kedrick
said.
kind of involuntarily shudders at her name, just as a reaction as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out. I mean, it's only one class out of five, right? She can't be in all of them, right?
Yeah, I would hope not. For your sake, I would hope not.
Hmm. Well, all right. Well, classes. There's clubs and all that. Are you thinking about joining one?
I've been looking at the list here. I'm not sure. I did hear about some of the clubs though. There's a couple that are interesting to me. I won't lie. I had a lot of fun in the simulators there. I could see myself trying out for, that um, air show class, but if I'm being honest, the Global Appreciation Club, man, Global was a legend. I would love to see what that's all about.
What would you even do in that club? Are you just
I,
gonna look
I'm
at memoirs and
Well, I would hope that maybe we would
cosplay
study
as
some
them?
of his, great strategic battles, and have something to learn there. But I'm not sure.
I think I think half of that is going to be pipe smoking and looking good on a bridge and all that. But
Well,
you let me know how it is. It's
important skills as a captain of a ship, one might
I
say.
suppose image is half the battle or something like that, right?
But Kedrick's also got the night school list up on his tablet as we're talking, and I'm like, these are not so much the kind of classes I was expecting for extracurricular classes.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure there's anything really to learn here. Although, I'm kind of curious to read up on this Ben Dixon character. He's quite an interesting name I've heard before, but I don't know a lot about some of the human history. And is he truly a hero of the first Robotech war here? I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm certain that Admiral Hunter, he has mentioned him a few times.
At the
But
mention of Admiral Hunter's name, Kedrick kind of gets a look of I don't know, admiration, right? He's um, the STF-3 having come and liberated his home planet and all of that stuff, right? So he's got a little bit of a hero worship there.
well, all right, I there's plenty of clubs about. I personally, and out of character, I'm if this is outside the bounds of the module, I totally get it.
Mhm.
But is there like night jobs actually that my
Yeah,
character
no,
could
there's
get?
there's jobs too. As it's a part of that part of the stuff you can get. They're mostly part-time jobs.
Of
Um,
course.
Mainly, there's cleaning and custodial and janitorial jobs, retail jobs, recycling duty, maintenance worker, factory worker, and tutoring.
All right. Well,
And of
I
course,
kind of
there's
think,
like more you can possibly find out if you walk around and look for places.
yeah, I think Jato will do that as he mentions it. Since we're going to be here for the better part of I assume the better part of a year, where is how long school's going to last. Actually, I was thinking about getting a job, and so well get some I can get some more resources going on.
Very admirable. Uh, Having access to funds can be quite useful, I'd imagine.
I'll be sure to buy Marzi a meat cone, a properly seasoned meat cone, as my first paycheck. So. All right. Yeah. I otherwise, I guess. Well. Best of luck in your second class, Kadurk. I think it's
Thank
Uh,
you, thank you.
so it seems like there's actually one class per day here, but
Oh, okay.
the classes do take from early mornings to the afternoon.
I see. All right. If we're breaking from our momentary break, I'd actually yes, I would like to look into jobs,
All right.
different jobs that are good.
Luckily, there's like a student board for where people put up jobs and stuff. There's one, the recycling facility and all, and maintenance workers. Guild both have jobs up. They don't pay well, but it's things. There's also, you notice, a job hiring for the Nyan Pai.
To work at the that was the restaurant or the bar?
The restaurant.
I see.
But there's also other
Well,
things like, test subjects for the Robotech, the Robotech Research Club. Yeah,
all right.
basically anything you can kind of think of. There's even like, gas station attendant, or convenience store attendants. In case you want to work overnight at a gas station, basically.
A protoculture gas station. Yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's see. I think it would be the most story interactive if I seek out the Nian Pai job. So I will do that.
All right. Ed and Kadirk, are you thinking about getting any jobs?
Yeah, I think Kaderk is gonna sign up for the Ben Dixon class because, like I said, he's gonna have developed this hero complex with Rick Hunter, and so he's very interested to learn more about this Ben Dixon character that he's heard about.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible? Like, am I able to do both a night class and be in a club?
Yes, you can do both of the. Yeah, you can do all. You can do a night class, club, and job if you want. But I will note, doing a night class does, every time you do a night class or a part-time job, it does cost you a little fatigue.
Yep. I saw that in the description. I'm all for that. I'm gonna push myself. Kedrick's an overachiever, so we're gonna do the Ben Dixon thing. And then, as much as he thought about the air show
Well, you can also do more than
thing,
one club.
maybe he's gonna definitely show up for the first session of the Global Appreciation Club.
Hmm.
And then he's gonna maybe go and check out the air show team club as well, just for the fun of it. He's really going all in.
All right. And Jato, are you interested in any of the clubs?
I would actually like to check out the Robotech Research Club. Hopefully, their experiments don't get too explosive, but we'll find out.
All right. And with that, and any of the night classes pick your fancy?
Not right now. No.
Okay. Sure, you don't want to go for Swole.
I was thinking more that he'd be more of a mecha girl phenomenon class. He's out there building his robo girlfriend with the rest of the class.
That's on the down low. Yes, there will
Okay.
be an underground. Well, I guess it is an underground thing.
But yep, no. So in that case, um, so we'll start out with going to the Nyan Pai. Now, Kadirk, are you coming with him or?
Yeah, I'll come with. I don't have anything lined up just yet, right? So.
So as you guys head towards the Nyan Pai, you have to head through part of the facility in order to get there. It's in the main below surface area section.
All right.
Luckily, it's in the biodome, so you don't have to go too far. But from what you can find, it's a small restaurant that's in a small, cozy building located in the side alleys of the central business district streets in the inner city area. It's 2 floors. The upstairs seems to be where the owner lives and is used for storage, and the ground floor is the restaurant itself. It features several pink, fluffy decorated round booths, decked with a number of cat-themed paraphernalia, which the owner
Okay.
seems to believe calms humans and makes them more likely to relax and eat. Counter serves as a bar and register, and the kitchen affixed behind it. Despite its relatively small size, the reputation for its rather unique and famous chef, the quality of unique alien dishes which are served here make it a popular place for people of all kinds to eat, leaving it very busy most times. As you head in, the first thing you notice is that there's about 2 people working here. The first one in the front is a Kabaran.
Oh.
He is a Kabaran with aged white trims and highlights across his ruggedly large body. And as you enter, he goes, "Ah, welcome, humans, or welcome, human and
I
Kabaran friend."
Kedrick will,
Whoa.
give an appropriate Kabaran greeting and, kind of walk in and I guess, shake his hand or whatever.
Ah, welcome, welcome. My name is Carl, and I'll be one of the. I'm the head chef here. Find yourself a seat and figure out what you want to eat or drink. And as you do, he's sitting behind the bar working on some stuff for some other tables. And this place is still fairly packed. But in the back, you see a Spherian who's a little different from what you expect. Most Spherians are clear, almost clear and or colorful crystals. Meanwhile, hers is black and red with flecks of orange that in the formation that passes for her hair. You see that they're definitely a female, but they seem to have more of a short, spiky hairstyle to them.
Do they seem to exude like an aura of like leave me alone sort of thing? Or
No, they seem actually fairly upbeat and working through it as the head chef calls back orders and she goes, "Yes, chef," and seems to work through it.
I see.
But as you guys, I'm assuming you guys go find. Do you guys sit at the bar or do you guys sit at like one of the tables?
I think sitting at the bar, just observe and I guess Jato is more like, oh, observing the whole scene and seeing it. Do I really want to work here? Is this cat themed paraphernalia? Is this going to be too grating? Is it so? Is there gauging the casing the joint to
Yeah,
use a completely off-putting term?
yeah. You're casing the joint. You don't think you can steal from the Kabaran. He might just kill you.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, sort of situation.
Hey,
No,
but as you guys sit down at the bar, he offers you guys two menus. My name is Carl, and I'll be the one to take your orders. And inside there's a couple of uh different things, but this menu is not laminated. It seems like a paper menu instead. And you notice that it's today's specials instead of the usual menu things, and it's got some really weird names on it. One of them seems to be a quote unquote noodle dish, but it focuses on an earthy spicy uh, flavor with something called a Kolgoth. You're not exactly sure what a Kolgoth is. Even you are a little unsure.
Hmm.
And there's various, beers and stuff in there, including one called a Paratonian Wizard Brew or a Kabaran Bear Blend.
Barn. Okay.
There's
Yeah,
also one
Kedrick's
that's
gonna
just listed as Praxian Sweat.
nice. Kedrick's gonna order a traditional Karbaran dish. Knowing that the proprietor is Karbaran, he expects a good home cooked type meal.
Oh, definitely. And do you want anything to drink with that, or?
Yeah, it's but first day's over. Kedrick's gonna order like a large beer,
Okay, yeah,
big mug.
you order a tradition large beer for yourself and that. And Jato, what are you thinking?
Jato will order. You said there was a noodle dish.
Yeah, it
I'm
says it's
imagining.
a noodle dish, but noodles are in quotation marks.
I see. In that case, I guess Jato will order a comically large ramen bowl or whatever the local
Hmm.
equivalent of ramen bowl would be.
Yeah, so
The
in this case, it's that kader or it's that bowl I said before.
Okay, I'll do that, and I'll get the comically large, extra large size. That's
Mhm.
probably the size of his torso,
Yeah.
sort of deal.
And any drinks?
I will get one order of Proto Cola. We'll go
Okay,
with that.
protocol. The classic flavor. Now owned by
Hmm.
Muratagi Heavy Industries after an industry takeover.
They're everywhere these days, especially on Mars, I guess.
But he goes, good choices. Ignis, a number 5 and a number 12. And she goes, yes, Jeff. And you can see that she's working hard in the back, and he goes back to help her. But this place is just swamped with people. Lots of people eating or ordering food, drinking. You see one person drinking one of the Paratonian wizard brews, and it looks like you see them drinking, and at first nothing happens, and then you notice that you can see their veins in like a rainbow color underneath their skin.
Interesting.
But besides that, they
Uh,
seem fine. It's just they turn into an RGB display for a little bit.
the gamer subs. I
Yep,
get you.
it is the gamer drink. But after a little bit, the quote unquote noodle dish pops out, and along with a Kabaran, along with a traditional Kabaran meat dish, with focus with mushrooms in it. It's nothing too fancy, Kadirk. It's a nice simple dish,
Okay, that's good.
and it's
Simple is good.
yep, it's a little good, though it does taste a little salty. And
Kedrick is polite. He's not going to say anything.
now Jato, as you get this meal, and you notice it's filled with like a thick white broth, and you're pretty sure the noodle is moving.
Okay. All right. Jato will look away and tentatively slurp up one of the noodles. I guess.
Okay. Yeah, no. So as you go for it, it's an interesting texture. It's definitely not a noodle per se, but it's probably some form of worm or other type of creature. But the flavor that comes across is instead nothing that would reject off of a normal palate, but something that is an earthy combination of like nutmeg and cinnamon combined with a spicy undercut of like sriracha almost.
Okay.
The
I'm trying to
earthy,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah,
Continue.
it's a weird blend of flavors, and it's a little also awkward that this thing is squirming as you eat it. But besides that, even the broth itself is almost like a milk base almost. But it itself is still warm. It's filling, and on top of the noodles, it kind of just blends together in a really weird but a weird but maybe nice kind of thing.
All right.
It's definitely exotic from what you had.
At some point when I guess I've a few bites in, I will look over at Kadirk. It's like, hey, you want to try some of this noodle noodles? Yes, they're
No,
noodles.
Kedrick waves him off like, no, I'm good. My dish is quite tasty. I'll
Oh,
be
come on!
fine.
You
Enjoy it.
only live
It
once,
looks
right?
unique,
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Hmm.
He tries to find other filler words that sound like it could mean good but really don't.
All right. Jato will probably eat about half before giving up and is like, this is exotic. Exotic is not on my mind today. So just the other half, exo, not the tick parts.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Ah, well, it's exotic is what we do here. So if you do plan to come back around, I do recommend you will be ready for something exotic.
Well, Jato actually mentions. Well, Carl, I noticed that it's been pretty busy for you guys today, and I imagine that. Are you guys looking to hire? Maybe.
Yes, we actually put up put up a job posting actually recently. We're looking for someone to run as a waiter and basically run out drinks and take orders.
All right. Well, consider me interested. I think I could use a few dollars here and
All
there.
right, you're hired.
Oh, okay.
And what of you? Are you joining him?
No, I have a full curriculum at this point. I unfortunately don't have any capacity for a job at this point.
Understandable. And at this point, he turns around and fetches out like an order book and hands it to you, Jato. All right, start running orders.
Okay. And then Jato will basically drink from the hose, so to speak. And I'm certain that if this were a montage scene, it would be like order after order after order, trying to keep it
Oh
all
yeah.
together.
Like this is kind of like the afternoon dinner, like the like the early evening dinner rush that you decided to start working at,
Okay.
and it is hellish, especially in the gravity, which it's not terrible compared to Earth gravity.
All right.
All right, one second.
Just gotta keep going.
But yeah, it's about 1/3 the gravity of Earth, so like it's a little bit lighter on you, but it's still heavier than what you usually get in space.
Fair enough.
But you were able to more or less, get through the workday. You will be taking a fatigue for this,
Okay.
and you can count your wealth level as 1 level higher. So in this case, you will count as wealth level 1, unless you've previously bought something that gave you a higher wealth level.
I did not, so
Yep.
I'm
So you
just
count as
order
wealth level
from
1, which means you're not broke.
Awesome.
You're not going to be buying, expensive designer stuff unless you spend like your next 3 paychecks, but something.
Where do I record fatigue? Is it under stress or is it something else?
Yeah, you mark it under the stress in one of the boxes.
Okay, there we go. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. And so Kadir, well, your friend is quickly hired and taken.
Save yourself. Save yourself.
I mean, Ketter kind of enjoys his meal and maybe the last few moments of relaxation here before he has to get into night school and those types of things. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to take an easy afternoon.
All right, yeah, it's a nice easy afternoon. I imagine you kind of like maybe walk around the biodome, maybe sit by the artificial ocean, the artificial beach.
Sure. Yep. Stretch out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the volleyball club, practicing. It does look like there's 2 sets of volleyball teams though. There's a regular volleyball team for Martian volleyball, and then the Sentinels team.
Oh, do I notice that the Sentinels team seems to be maybe more competitive, or?
It's more that none of the Sentinels races are really fair to play against regular humans.
Yes.
The
Okay,
Rudins
gotcha.
are insanely fast and high reflexes. Paratoni and the balance give them a strong edge for aerial tricks and maneuvers. Praxians are like horrifyingly adept at tactics and teamwork. Even the Tyrolean Triumvirate teams seem to just perfectly be able to work together.
Gotcha.
And
yeah, I mean, I think Ketterik's attention would probably be drawn more towards the Sentinels team, just being that he's, most likely seen a lot of them around and about.
Yeah, no, it's mainly a mixed team that's comes. It looks like it's one large mixed team that they've split up in order to practice against each other. And like one of the Praxians is working with the Triumvirate in order to set up perfect volleys in which the Tyroleans bounce it around before the Praxian goes to spike it. Well, meanwhile, on the other team, a Garudin, a Kabaran, a Spherian, and a Paratonian are working together, and they're setting up shots for this Kabaran to just absolutely spike the ball. Like, with enough force that a normal human would probably just have their arms broken.
Sure, yep.
But for the most part, it's pretty good. So overall, they're just kind of doing what they do. And after the set finishes, the Praxian, who's been noticing you've been watching, kind of walks over and goes, "Hail, Kabaran. Are you looking to possibly join the volleyball team?"
No, not my favorite pastime, but I enjoy watching a good game. You played well.
Ah, thank you. Lately, we've been looking for an extra member due to the fact that unfortunately, one of our members graduated.
Ah, yes, the ever-changing school body. I can imagine that keeps you busy, always looking for recruits.
Indeed, especially with the smaller amount of Sentinels races.
Ah, yes, I hadn't considered that.
But if you ever do decide to join us, come out and have some fun in the sun, as the humans say.
Haha, I'll keep it in mind.
And she'll wander back over the team as they prep for another match. You notice that the Spherian is the only one who's not sweating because he's made of stone and doesn't seem to get tired.
Makes sense.
But eventually, the time ticks around until night classes can happen, and you eventually head over to where the night classes are being held, which is in the within the main classrooms. Now, you said you were going for the Ben Dixon class, right?
I am, yes.
All right. So as you head there, at first there is no teacher there, but eventually a couple other students file in, and coming into the room and it almost looks like you've stepped back in time as someone who looks like Ben Dixon, but with with a rather full mustache comes in.
Okay.
Welcome, class. Welcome. I'm glad that you've all come in here today to join this night class. So, if everyone's ready, we can get started on talking why Ben Dixon is the great hero of that should be worshipped instead of Rick Hunter. Just saying.
Kedrick kind of stiffens at that comment a little bit as he inspects this professor or what have you more closely.
You're not exactly sure who this is, but this person, like, out of the data pads you've seen of Ben Dixon, this man or whoever this is a very close representation of them, if not them, with a really bad, a really full mustache.
So a convincing Elvis impersonator. I mean,
Yes.
Ben Dixon impersonator.
I mean, that's what you think so far, at least.
Okay. Kedrick's uncomfortable with the comments that have been made so far. He's he was here to learn about Ben Dixon, but why he's should be praised above Rick Hunter kind of makes him stiffen defensively.
Mm-hmm. Well, class, to start with, one of the reasons why Ben Dixon should be treated as the true hero of the first Robotech war is the fact that he never died. Instead,
and at this, Kedrick kind of interrupts, and how would you know this?
Well, we just have to look back at the records, and he pulls up some records and some very questionable fact-checking website. And he's like, "See here, it says that he died at the Ontario Quadrant, helping try to protect the SDF-1, and wasn't able to get his afterburners on in order to get out of the blast radius of the SDF-1's omnidirectional barrier. Now, what I argue is that he didn't die there. Seeing how omnidirectional barriers work, nothing explodes when you hit them. In fact, it's actually just supposed to absorb the energy, which I argue and have found conclusive research for that means that he did not die, but instead was absorbed into the SD1 itself and became it. Before being able to make a robot version of himself to go forward and help negotiations with the Zentradi.
Kedrick's like checking the room number on his data pad to make sure that he didn't actually end up in the Mecha Girl Phenomena room by mistake.
No, that one's next door, and you hear something about a gacha game.
Okay.
Now then,
Kedrick gives a very unconvinced, How many other students are in this class?
There's about 7 or 8. It's
Okay.
Night classes being, something of a little bit of a hard thing to go through. Not a lot of students have the time to, really devote more time besides the main schedule, and it's a lot of hard work on their bodies.
Okay.
But yeah, as he's going through this, he's very quickly, trying to, explain his reasoning through extensive, knowledge, extensive, research done of the omnidirectional barrier and how it works and such. And one of the students goes, "But didn't they use the omnidirectional barrier to kill, Dolza or something?" And he'll go, you see, they would have, except from the inside, Ben Dixon managed to reverse the polarity of it in order to actually destroy him. And most of the students are kind of questioning this. But
yeah, Kedrick's
it's
very
night
skeptical.
classes. It's, free stuff, which seems to be what most of them are doing. And at this point he goes, "Now, what I want you guys to do, in order to, make this a fair class, because I understand this is something that's really hard to take in, I want you guys to come up with arguments as to why come up with arguments and research as to why you think that Ben Dixon couldn't have done this. And if you can convince me that Ben Dixon 100% died at that battle, then I will give you a merit point."
I see. Okay.
And with that, after this, long-winded explanation back and forth of, all of the how, he thinks omnidirectional barriers work and research, and, referencing some very, Sasquatch level footagery of, possible Ben Dixon after his death. It's, eventually, finally class ends and you're able to get out of there and think over your homework for the night class.
Gotcha.
Now, do mark down 1 fatigue, please. But with that, though, since it is 11:30, I'm going to call it a night here.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you once again for everyone that's come out tonight and decided to just check it out. Once again, the Kickstarter is still live for a few more days. We have 8 days left. We have reached the first stretch goal, though, which is going to be the fold-out map. Yep, the large deck plans for a ship voted on by you guys, the viewers. Well, viewers and supporters of the Kickstarter, I should say. And we're getting closer to the second one, which is the map of the Zentradi Control Zone in South America. So if you want to get that map, make sure to help get that extra 6,000 in there. With that, one final thanks goes out to the designers of this module, and apologies for horribly butchering it with my inability to speak English on most days. Justin Gruhl, Timothy Gruhl, and Caleb Spurlock, who have put in a lot of work into this book and definitely reworked it from when we originally tested it out. But with that, I'm going to give a chance here for our members here to give their callouts.
Yeah, I'm Ketter, having a blast. Can't wait to keep going with this. And yeah, go back that Kickstarter. Looks like a lot of fun.
I'm Snickets. Just imbibing into the Robotech atmosphere. A lot of new things, a lot of really familiar things. I actually kind of thought this low-key school environment was actually how this game was going to start, but no, apparently classes always start with foiling a terrorist attack instead in the Robotech universe. So, well, we'll have to. I'll keep that in mind from now on. But otherwise, having fun. Hopefully, I'll see you guys will come back next week.
Yep. And hopefully next week we'll have back Jezebel, who will be playing Marzi. I will be getting them caught up to speed on a separate side session. It might be streamed, it might not be not, depending on what days Marzi's available. Or worst comes to worst, I'll just run them through what they had during the first session, during the next session. So with that, everyone have a good night, and I'm going to get us raiding another channel really quickly. So give me one moment. We will be raiding Skullvolver, who's a YouTuber who has some really good content that I love. So if you want to stick around with that, thank you, and check out the next video that will hopefully be going on next week. All things going well.
Woohoo.
Later.
Until next time.
Okay, and we're good.